Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us tonight. Right now, it's just the milkmaid and I, but that's okay. Several other people had plans today. The Lazarus couldn't make it. They had plans. 101 had some stuff going on. Uh, Virginia has got some stuff going on, and they weren't able to make it tonight. But the cool thing about the show is if only two people show up, I don't care. I'm still Cannon Beast too. I was going to do it anyway. So, that's the cool thing about the whole concept of doing a live stream candy show. It's stuff that we're going to do anyway. We're just doing it in the kitchen, not by ourselves anymore, which is kind of cool. But
Yep.
we've got the PAEMT here, Bug Dude, Ginger Ninja, Wendy Benjamin. How are you guys doing today? Awesome, I hope.
Nice.
As you can see, the milkmaid is working that knife.
Sorry. You can't hear that, can you?
Huh?
Could you hear that?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay, good.
Nah. We didn't hear anything, or at least I didn't hear anything. So,
Yeah.
is anybody else out there in the chat canning with us today? Or is everybody just doing the watching thing? Hey, Demeter Solis. Hello, Wild Nesting. Sherry Leach, how are you?
Hey,
So is
y'all.
anybody sitting along with us?
Hopefully a couple. I heard some people talking about they were wanting to do it, so
Well, we got room up here if anybody wants to hop up here with us.
come on. We don't bite.
We can kill a little time and shoot the breeze and wait for a few more people. Hey, Monty, what's going on? Wendy Benjamin says she finally got some rain up there in Nova Scotia. That's some beautiful country.
Yay!
That's one thing I have not been lacking on is rain. It's been raining pretty regular here, and the temperature has not been that bad. It's actually been quite comfortable.
Nice. Yeah, it got really hot here for a couple of days, and then we actually did get some rain, and then last night it was so cold that I actually got cold. I never get cold.
Yeah, like last night, well, about 2 this morning when I went outside to walk Buddy, it was like brisk. It was like 60-ish. I was like, whoa, where'd that come from?
There you go. The sweatshirt weather right there.
Mm-hmm. Rosanna Jones, hello. How are you doing today? No fear, just love. What's going on? Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So what all did you get done today other than chasing pigs around the yard?
I'm farm sitting for a friend. So I'm running this place and then I'm also running that place. So
Oh, wow.
I got my dog.
I said, oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's an undertaking. I mean, we swap. He took care of milking my cow while I was gone to see my daughter graduate, and then he's gone on vacation for the first time like a decade. Because when you homestead, you don't leave the farm very often. It's great though. I love it.
That's what my uncle asked me the other week. He's like, hey, when you coming down to visit? I'm like, I can't. What do you mean? I'm like, who's going to feed my rabbits? Who's going to take care of my garden and stuff? Like, I can't, like not even for one day. Like, literally, not even for one day. I mean, I guess I could, like, load them up completely on the water and super overfeed them, just let them hang out for 48 hours. But I would feel like shit if I did that. So I couldn't do that. But
I mean,
yeah.
the nice thing is you could even get like those water bottles, especially if it's not cold weather, and you can fill those up and they'd be good. Or you set up a thing with your neighbor, swapping farm sitting, which is what I do.
Yeah. Plus, I'm gonna build an automatic watering system for them. Put a big couple of 5-gallon buckets up on top, and I'll run the lines to it with the feeder nipples, and I'll just keep it full of water. And in the summer, I can just throw frozen water bottles in there or chunks of ice so to keep the water nice and cool.
Yeah.
So I got to get my butt working to get that done. Hello, Zani. How are you?
Hey,
Bella. Zah. Wendy Benjamin. Sherry Leach. Bella. Stony Acre Homestead.
Hi, Stony.
Yeah, Bug Dude. The milkmaid's cheating on her cow. She's never hanging out with that animal.
Yeah. It's actually the guy that bought my last milk cow. That's how we met.
Yeah. Hazy Infidel is here. Be Charming. What's going on? How you doing? Firefly Farm. Debbie Sims. Mad Shad. Hello. Yeah, so today was an awesome day, guys. It was a really awesome day. Got some good news to share with everybody, especially you, Zonnie. Uh, I got to meet Native Voice, uh, his lovely. Are they married? They're married, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, his lovely wife and
Not him and Devout.
huh?
Not him and Devout. Him and Lady
Yeah,
Bruin.
yeah. It was a toss up there for a minute, but yeah, Native came today. Him and his wife and Devout Lion came today to
Hi.
pick up. Hey, Susanna. They came
Sorry
today
I'm
to
late.
pick up their rabbits. Jeff Bear, welcome to the membership, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, but
Hey, Jeff.
They drove up today and picked up their meat rabbits, and everybody was correct. Native chose the dark gray male, and he got a white female. So hey, he should have some pretty good colors. And the male that I gave him was he's 4 months old, and the female is only 2 months old. You can breed females when they get to the age of 4 months, and you can breed males when they get to the age of 6 months. So the timing is perfect. So 60 days from now, he can start breeding. They're from two separate genealogies, two completely separate lines, two completely separate rabbitries that I got him from. So he's going to be off to a really good start. And
That's
yes,
awesome.
ladies in the chat, I have to go ahead and be honest with you. He is at least as pretty, if not a little bit more pretty in person than he is on camera. Just going to go ahead and say it.
It
He's a
says
pretty dude.
dimples.
I know, right? He's a pretty dude. Yeah, but it was awesome, man. They're really cool, and it's pretty neat. I'll share some other information for you guys. As preppers online, PERSEC, as the maid calls it, which is awesome. Personal security is very, very important, and from day one, people always ask, "Where are you at? Where do you live?" And I'll give a location. I'll give an area. I'll give a town that's close to me. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes the town's not even close to me at all. I just want to give people a point of reference, and then they'll give me their fake location. There's another point of reference, and you can kind of guess who's close to who. But without giving out any details, for the last several months, Native and I have talked, and he's inquired about, where am I close to, and I'm like, I'm close to Rockingham, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm not too far from you. And he names the town that he's close to, which is supposedly an hour or so away. But today, when we were negotiating, trying to figure out where to meet, this and that and the other, I was like, man, screw it. Here's my address. Just come to my house. And so he showed up, and he's like, dude. I'm like, what? He goes, you realize we're like neighbors, right? And I'm like, what? He goes, I live like, and then tell me where he lived. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Like, we are literally only a few miles apart. Like literally, if I had to bug somewhere, I can walk to his place. If he had to bug somewhere, he could walk here. I mean, that's how close we are. But the whole time we're playing the whole shell game, doing the PERSEC, trying to keep your location kind of simple. And it just works out that, yeah, he's right around the corner, which is awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was a trip. I was like, yeah, are you serious? Yeah, it was pretty cool. So maybe I'll be a guest star in his next episode of the movie if he didn't kill me in the woods like he killed Devout Lion. Hard to get a real good series if you're killing off your boys in the woods, but
Yeah, just come back as zombies or something.
exactly. I'd be a good zombie. I'd be a real good zombie.
Yeah.
I think.
Brains.
Other news I want to share with you guys before we get started. You know what? Let's go ahead and get started with the can, then I'll share the news. That way we don't get falling behind. What we're doing today.
Yeah.
Hey, Suzanne, are you planning with us? Or are you just here to hang out?
No, I'm planning.
Awesome. Well, we are doing beef stew today. Milkmaid is doing it hot pack, which means she's par cooked her stuff beforehand, or she could have just made a pot of beef stew, fed herself, and decided to can the leftovers. It doesn't hurt to can it after you've already cooked it. I, on the other hand, am raw packing. I'm doing this for one reason. I have several cases of beef stew already canned up, but I've never raw packed beef stew before, so I want to try this new recipe. And I'm going to be raw packing everything. What I'm doing is all the veggies are cut up, the meat's cut up. I'm not doing a huge batch. I'm doing, I don't know, 8 pounds, I guess. But everything just goes in there, stacked on top of each other, completely raw, completely cold. And then I am going to, instead of adding water for the broth, I'm going to add beef stock and beef stew seasoning mix, the little packets that you get at the store. I'm going to mix all that up, and that's what I'm going to fill it up with to kind of give it more of a beefy flavor. The ones I have in storage that I eat, they're delicious. They taste great, but they could be a little bit more beefy. And when I made those, I just used water. So this time I'm gonna do a little mixture of my own, so to speak, with the seasoning mix and the beef stock. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more beefy. But the way the process works is it's just like everything else. You shove it in a jar, you clean the rim, put on a new lid, finger tighten it, put it in the canner, and put it to the fire. Going to wait till it comes up to pressure, or actually going to wait till it steams. It vents for 10 minutes. Then you put the weight on. Then you wait for it to come to pressure, which depends on your elevation. Look that up. Here for me, it's 10 psi, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for you, right, Milkmaid? 10,
Mm-hmm.
Susanna. It's 10 psi. Once it reaches pressure, you start your timer, and it goes for an hour and a half. Once that time is complete, you simply turn off the fire and you let it come down to 0 on its own. Do not touch your jiggler. Is that right, Susanna? Don't touch
Yeah. Don't touch the jiggler.
Yeah, don't touch the jiggler until it comes all the way down to 0. When it comes down to 0, you can slowly lift the jiggler off, and then you let it sit for another 10 minutes in the canner. After that, you can take the lid off, sit them all on the counter on top of a napkin or something. You don't want to put them on a hard surface. Put them on top of a napkin or something spaced out where they can cool off. Let them sit for 24 hours. The next day, you want to wash them off real good in soapy water. Remove the rings and label them and put them away. And you have beef stew that will be good for years and years and years.
Okay, I'm doing the raw pack method. So, how long do I leave it? How long is it going to go for?
An hour and a half. Like the only difference in the raw pack and the cold pack is our meat's raw. I mean, there's no difference in processing time. The time is the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's an hour and a half. All right, well, I am going to get over here and start loading up my jars. And
okay.
I will take this little camera with me so you guys can watch.
I'm being invaded by my daughter trying to get water for tea. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
She thinks the kitchen's hers. I'm the one that cleans it. She is an excellent help. All right, so I'll explain while Ghost is starting on his. The hot pack method that I'm doing, is that all right if I go ahead and explain?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to get that seared flavor in it, and I've only raw packed before, so this is an experiment for me. And you can experiment with like pressure cooking recipes as long as you do the time for the thing that takes the longest. But I went ahead and cooked these in my skillet. And then while I did, I really like to add a little bit of red wine to my beef stews and stuff like that. I think it pops the flavor, kind of like beef. Oh, I'll butcher the name. Borgen something or other.
Mm-hmm.
And so I save the pan juices. So I'll be putting that in with the hot water when I hot pack. And it's the same thing as like with your raw pack where you have your vegetables cut up and then you kind of layer them as you put them in. And then whatever seasonings you're planning on using. And then you go to the 1-inch headspace with your hot water or broth or whatever, or just fill it up if you already have leftover beef stew. But so that's kind of what I'm doing. And I apologize, I can't see the chat. Only what Ghost puts up. But, and my jars are in the oven, kind of staying warm, so that when I put that hot water in, that it doesn't, the temperature differences. And I've already preheated this so that it's already warm, plus it takes forever to get hot in order to come to pressure. So that's part of the reason too why I did hot pack. But anyways, and also I'm gonna add some rosemary. Got from the garden, chopped up, and some dehydrated mushrooms. I'll add in there. The water will just soak into them, and that'll be pretty good. And oregano. Can't leave out oregano. That's all.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. So, did your husband get the right jar, Susanna?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was so sweet. He was sending you messages saying which ones and all that. That's awesome.
I don't know. Stuff happens, I guess.
What?
I said stuff happens, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I've learned when I am when I send him with a list,
Yeah.
I make sure I'm very specific. Sometimes I even put the aisle number, but then when the grocery store switches things around, that gets confusing. But yeah, so okay. So here's my vegetables. I didn't measure them. I just chopped up carrots, onions, celery, some garlic, and put them. Ghost, do you mind me talking? Just so there's not dead air.
Go ahead.
Okay. And then I mixed them all together and saw if it looked good, and I'm getting a note. What? Are you able to turn off camera in a little while? Hey, there's food in the fridge. Oh, okay. Why is it then when you turn the camera on, they need something? Yeah. So I'm a layer, and I don't know if you guys can see. Susanna, you loading yours up?
Yeah, sure do.
Huh?
Did you ask me? Say that again.
Are you loading yours up now?
Yeah, I got 2 more jars.
Nice. I can start vegetables. I think I probably cut out too many vegetables, but that's okay. I'll just make more beef stew. Or freeze them for later. Gosh, it already smells so good. Oopsie. And then I will in a little bit. Okay. Don't worry about it. Actually, I might have chopped up enough vegetables. I felt that. Let me see how he's doing his. So, Ghost, are you putting all yours on the bottom? Your meat on the bottom and then adding the veggies on the top?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Cool. I didn't put potatoes in mine. I should have. That's kind of smart. We like a lot of meat. Oh, dang. I thought I was going to have too much. Some might have more meat than others. It'll be a minute. Like a lot of minutes. I'm watching. Oh, you're watching? Do you want to come join? No. No? Alright, and then I'm going to add my spices in. It's like your cooking channel. I'd never be able to do it. I don't use recipes. Ah, I forgot the mushrooms. All right. Get in there. In fact, I wonder about adding some mushroom powder too. That'd be good.
I like mushrooms.
Huh?
I like mushrooms.
I love mushrooms. And it's funny because I hated them when I was a kid. But then when I grew up, I found I liked them. I totally skipped the whole funnel thing, but I'm just going to pack the rest in. I think they taste good. Plus, they're so good for you. Like, every single mushroom has cancer-fighting properties. Even the cheap ones. Wow. I accidentally did the perfect amount. Let me see if I can find my measuring things. They're in the dishwasher. Thank you, honey.
This looks good in the jar.
Huh?
So this looks good in the jar.
Doesn't it? And that's what I ended up layering mine. I just gonna put a little bit of oregano in each one too. See, I used to be terrified of cooking because I was so scared that I'd mess up recipes and I'd freak out over the tiniest little difference. And then I learned that you could just wing it and taste it as you went along. Total game changer. It's like painting, you know? You just do it until it looks right and tastes right. You know?
Yeah.
Now, guess how much salt are you put? Ooh, I'm almost out of this. How much salt are you putting in these? Because I didn't look it up before.
I'm not adding any salt or anything because I'm using the seasoning packet. So I'm just using
that's right.
And I've got the beef bouillon going. I'm not going to season it at all. I'm just going to put the actual beef stew seasoning packet with the water and just see how it goes.
Yeah, I just used a little bit of the beef bouillon.
Oh, there you go. So, I need to look that up and I can't on my phone. One moment, I'm going to get my daughter to look it up for me. Can you look up salt on? I want to say it's a teaspoon. Un momento. I'll be right back.
I use a couple of these.
Oh, there you go. I thought about using my better than bouillon, but apparently I'm out. Somebody's been using it. Give me one moment and I'm going to look this up. Can you... Oops. Sorry, y'all. Let me get a new tab here. There we go.
Literally accidentally cut up and diced up the exact perfect amount of vegetables. I might have like 3 pieces of celery left over, but everything fit into the jars, which is unusual for me.
And I'm sorry. I hope you guys didn't see my face while I was Googling all that. It is 1 teaspoon per quart jar. So it would be a half teaspoon per pint. I just wanted to double check because I thought that's what it was, but you know. And then once I do that, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Let me get this. Sorry, y'all. I might have been squeaky. All right, I got my seasonings in, got my stuff in, and then this is my pan drippings that has like a little bit of tiny bit of red wine in there and ground pepper. I figured that might be tasty to add in lieu of broth because I don't have any packets. And then it's exactly 1 cup, so I got to figure out how to like divvy it up. I ought to just put it in a couple of them and then mark them.
Show you guys my seasoning mix, how thick it is.
Oh, nice.
I'm just going to divide that up between the jars evenly and then fill the rest up with water. And then it'll cook down and spread around on its own.
Yeah, what I've noticed is it all moves around when it's getting cooked anyhow, you know?
See how the layers, the meat, onions, carrots, celery, shove it all in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what ended up with mine. Like, this is my vegetable bowl. It just all fit. I'm going to throw a little bit more rosemary in because it's here anyhow. And it's fresh, so it's not like the dry stuff. All right, ladle time. So hot pack, hot jars, hot food, and then hot water. And then put it in a hot canner. It's hot in here, y'all. Let's see. Let's scooch this closer. I should have the right amount of water. And then the bubbler. Oh man, I may not have enough water. So Suzanne, are you making your broth ahead of time and then putting it in, or are you doing like the putting just the bouillon cube in?
I'm using broth that I had, organic broth.
Oh, nice.
That I had bought at Costco a while back. And it's a vegetable broth that I'm using.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, the first time I canned anything, it was actually goose breast that was cubed up.
Mm-hmm.
I had too much, and so I did a raw pack. And then after that, I made goose breast too. I kind of started with the hard stuff, not knowing any better. I just needed to can some. I was fed up with myself for not canning. I've had the canner, no joke, probably 8 months before I canned for the first time. I was that scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
I would count seconds between jiggles to make sure I had the perfect number of jiggles in between. That's why, like, when somebody says that, you know, they're scared to can, sometimes you just gotta do it and realize it might be a complete failure. You're not going to blow up the house, though. It's almost dang near impossible. I'm going to get some more hot water real quick. For making tea came in handy. And since,
hello everyone in chat.
I know, hello everyone. I wish I could see chat and be able to like, because I do that.
A native said hot and pepper.
Huh?
A native. Yeah.
Oh, hey, native. That's so awesome. Rabbits are really fun to breed and raise and eat. I've got some excellent recipes too, or like kind of ideas. I don't give amounts, but I have excellent like ideas. And with our last, well, I had to learn. Never put a whole rabbit in a crock pot and just like a crock pot chicken, because you'll end up with teensy tiny little vertebrae bones, and you cannot find them all, and then you're eating and then crunch. So I always break them down before I freeze them. And rabbit wings, man, they're so good. So I lost my debubbler, and I used like a plastic knife instead, because it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, our very last rabbit, because we had to get rid of them when we were moving, our very last rabbit meal that I made was some hindquarters, and I braised them in a cast iron, like a cast iron pot thingy that had a lid, and braised them in butter. And then I threw mushrooms and rosemary and garlic and all that stuff, and then a little bit of red wine to deglaze the pan. And then I stuck them in the oven to finish cooking. And when we ate that, we were like, why the heck did we not figure this out with all the other rabbit meals? Like, it turned out really good.
It sounds good.
Because they're not terribly fatty, so you have to kind of add some fat. But I used them in everything. I made chicken. I would always accidentally call it chicken. I'd make rabbit tetrazzini and rabbit stew, and basically anything I used chicken, and I'd use the rabbit instead.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I debubbled. Should have just enough left. Oops. Too much in that one. Alrighty.
How are you doing, Ghost? Yes.
He is focused, man. So for anybody who's new in chat, after you fill everything and you leave the correct headspace, then you take your vinegar on a paper towel or a rag and then clean off the top to make sure there's no residues there that will prevent the lid from sealing properly, or any like particles of food and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, you probably already know that, Susanna. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, but sometimes we forget, and so we have to be reminded.
Yeah,
I totally forgot before.
Yeah, I only had enough for 6 stars, so I'm filling the 7th with water.
Yeah. Yeah, my kid came into the kitchen. She's like, "What are all these jars full of water, Mom?" From last week's, because I could only fill 2 jars.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "It's emergency water, honey."
Yeah.
We actually had a really good conversation in the car about a get-home bag and what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, that kind of makes sense." I'm like, "Uh-huh."
That's actually a good idea, Zane, but I didn't add any because I didn't think of it.
What'd she say?
If we added, if any of us added bay leaf,
Ooh, that's a
at
good
least,
idea. See,
yeah.
Gilbrook Farm, she did, a really excellent canning tutorial that I kind of learned from. And she said the
Mm-hmm.
one spice she doesn't put into like her canned foods is sage.
Yep.
She said for some reason it just totally changes the flavor.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I love Gilbert Farms. Her videos are so easy to watch, and she knows what she's talking about.
Oh, she does.
Yeah. And it's funny seeing like the change in her husband over the years. Like he used to have the long hair and the ponytail, and now he's all clean cut, and it's cool watching them grow and they move and they built a house. It's really neat.
Their house is. I love that they're doing all of that debt free.
Yeah, that's so nice.
And they're building quite the place too. I'm impressed.
Yeah, Zane, Native and Lady Rowan and Devout came up today and got the rabbits. They seemed pretty stoked. The rabbits even looked happy. They were like, "Yay! It's adopted. Got adopted." So it was pretty cool. It was really, really cool. I'm glad they got to come up.
Did you already get yours in the canner, Ghost?
Yep, I'm already in the canner. My fire's on. I'm loaded up.
Yep, mine is too.
I am almost there. I'm always the last. I'm just yakking. Huh?
I was reading to myself.
Oh. Alright, hot jars and hot canner.
Yeah, Native says they were totally stoked. Either he's talking about his wife and Devout, or he's talking about the rabbits and getting away from me. Probably the rabbits. The only thing that was missing today from Native and Devout and Lady Rowan being here was if we'd had Prepper Tribe and Nisi in the background hitting the beats and Hutch cussing out, and if Hutch was here cussing out my neighbors for no apparent reason, it would have been a perfect day.
Hutch cracks me up. I like him a lot.
Yes, Patriot Sandwich Maker. I have never canned on anything except a glass top stove. And it's always worked out really, really well. I'm just very, very careful on how I move the canner. What's going on, Jeff?
Oh, not much. I hope y'all having a great day.
So far, so good.
Hey.
How are you,
have-
Jeff? Hi.
I'm doing pretty good. I got a question. I've done my beef stew a while back ago, but the way I done mine is I cooked it and then I ate some of it and then I canned the rest. Was there anything wrong with that?
No, that's how I usually do it, actually. That's usually how I can most of my meals. I'll make a huge batch. I'll eat it for supper, and then I can what's left. I do that with spaghetti, chili, beef stew, chicken stew, Brunswick stew. I'll just make a huge batch. I'll eat supper from it, and then I can the rest.
See, and that's great because I make a lot when I make beef stew.
Hey, the Lazarus are here. What's going on, Lee and Chris?
Yay!
When
Guys.
are y'all? Sorry. Do you have any plans in doing spaghetti sauce in the future?
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting on.
All right. Well, we can't do it next week, but we can do spaghetti the following week. Next week, I have a special announcement about next week. I'm gonna share with everybody here in a second. Patriot Sandwich Maker. Patriot Sandwich Maker says, I'm scared to stand on ours. I've read many horror stories at the weight of the canner cracking the glass top. Patriot, I think what has happened, because I've canned on 3 separate glass top stoves, and I always put the canner on empty. I load it. I use it stays there until it's completely cool, and then I remove it. I don't slide it off the burner. I don't move it around at all because it is glass. But what I think happens when people are breaking their glass tops, I think it's a combination of being rough with the canner, number one. And I think some of the older pressure canners, like the Prestos, have a concave bottom, like the bottom actually curves like this. So it creates this massive heat dome underneath there. And I think that's the excessive pressure, I think, is what was breaking the glass top stove. So I've never heard of anybody breaking their glass top with an All-American or a flat bottom.
And that's interesting because I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but my canner, I actually bought one that is that you can use on there. So and it was advertised as that, but I have only seen them. I haven't seen very many of them.
Now that's the only way I can is on the glass top.
Yeah. Lazarick, I've done both. I've done canned tomatoes and fresh tomatoes. The thing about doing something like chili or spaghetti, like honestly, I would rather have fresh if I'm eating it fresh. But once it goes through that canning process, you literally can't tell the difference. I mean, because it takes on a completely different flavor texture. So as far as doing a big batch of like spaghetti or any kind of stew with tomatoes, I just pick the cheaper route.
My canner's
Well, I didn't get a chance to plant a garden this year, so mine's gonna have to be farmer market.
I heard a good tip about that once, getting your produce at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
If you're planning on doing a whole lot of canning, you got a big family, you just want to put up a lot of food, get there early and get to know the people. But then once you have a relationship, talk to them and say, hey, if you ever have like a whole bunch of produce that you can't sell at the end of the day, or maybe it's like the ugly stuff or anything, hit me up. I'll come get it if you're willing to take a reduced price for it. And you can score some good deals. So I've heard, I haven't tried it, but that's an idea.
Yeah. I don't think there's any flour at all in that flavoring packet. It's just the seasonings. And it isn't really a thickening agent. It'll thicken up when it cooks, but when the potatoes break down, it may thicken up a little bit. But as far as I know, there's no flour in there because I've never canned anything with flour in it before. But I have done beef stew that's been pre-cooked with those seasoning packets in there, so it shouldn't be a big deal.
The lid was giving me heck over here.
Yeah, Patriot's mom cans on the glass top too.
Yeah, that's why I ended up having to can on a Coleman stove outside the first time. Was I was staying with my mom after my dad died, and yeah, she was not comfortable with anything touching her glass top. She loves her. I never want something that I have to baby ever.
Like honestly, I probably would have been freaked out, but I bought the canner and canned immediately. I didn't see any videos or hear any warnings about it breaking a glass top stove. I didn't do all that research. I just started canning, and then weeks later, somebody's like, "Oh, you're not supposed to use a glass top." I'm like, "Well, oops."
Ignorance is bliss.
I'm the kind of guy that buys a piece of furniture and puts it together without looking at the instructions. Then when I have pieces left over when I'm done, I'll look at the instructions. Those are
was like, okay, oh well, too late.
I mean, I've literally put things together, had pieces left over, and I'm like, what? And whatever it was I put together works just fine. I think the dresser one time, I had like extra screws and extra all kinds of stuff, but it worked fine. So, yeah.
Oh, you should probably do your disclaimer at some point.
Disclaimer, We are not professional canners. This is for entertainment only. The recipes that we share on this show are recipes that we have either learned through research on the internet or YouTube, or we have learned from relatives, family, and friends. Um, Before you attempt to do any canning or copy us, do your own research. Make up your own mind if it's something that you want to do, and do it at your own risk.
There you go.
So it's
Milkmaid,
Yes, sir.
that canner looks about as big as you.
It's a
It
big
is.
critter. I'm not a little person. I'm about almost 5'8". It's a big thing. And you know what?
How many?
Pardon?
How many quarts will that hold?
You know, it holds 7 on the bottom. I have not tried to double stack it yet without using like a rack. Jess at Keto Homestead had said that she uses a towel, and I haven't tried it yet. I didn't have as much, to can at one point, but I'm going to try it at some point, see if it fits. It holds 16 pints.
Lord have mercy. Well, now, which one would you prefer between the jiggler or the gauge?
Jiggler.
Both.
100%.
Always
Okay.
about the jiggler.
I mean, it has a gauge, but it has a jiggler. But when it reaches 10 pounds pressure on my jiggler, my gauge says 11 or 12 pounds. So if I had gone by my gauge only, I would never have reached 10 pounds, which means my food wouldn't be safe.
Okay.
Physics don't lie.
Okay.
Nutrition says both. So you have that written down, my disclaimer. No, I'm making it up. Every single show is different. We just kind of make it up as we go along. I think last week Milkmaid did the disclaimer. 'Cause I always forget.
And I think it just depends too if you're good, if you're all good with being able to just know exactly how it's working and how, and you're not getting confused or anything like that. You can do either one and you'll be just fine.
Right. That is true.
If you understand the underlying principles of the process, then you can reach logical conclusions, but you have to understand why before you start guesstimating. I mean, unless it's for entertainment purposes, but that's kind of
Yeah.
I'm covering my derriere.
Are you guys ready for the exciting news?
Yes.
Yep.
Are you sure? It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm here to tell you. All right, so I have decided to start a new show. It will probably be once a month, maybe twice a month if it really takes off. The name of the show is Prepper Summit. And the reason for doing the show, my concept in my head at least, is I want to bring together preppers from all over the planet, like as far apart from people as I can possibly get in touch with. And we'll have like a common topic, but the answers will be from completely different regions of the planet, completely different countries, maybe even different languages. We may have to have a translator, I don't know. But it's so, instead of just relying on the what's going on in your area or your state or your country, we'll be able to share stories from like all over the planet in different countries. And I'm probably going to classify Hawaii and Alaska as their own separate states because they are so far removed from the 48. Not really sure yet, but so it's really exciting. It'll be Prepper Summit. It'll be a small panel, 3, maybe 4 people max, including me. So everybody gets a chance to be heard, and we can put out some really good, relevant questions, and hopefully answer some really good questions. And as a bit of dessert for that, I'll go ahead and give you guys a teaser. I'll let you know who 2 of my first guests are. My very first guest on the Prepper Summit is none other than the Angry Prepper. He agreed to be the very first. He will be there, and Homestead Oz will be there. So I'm working on one more person. It's a secret. I'm trying to get your she confirmed, but it looks like the first show is just going to be the 4 of us. It'll be me, the Angry Prepper, Homestead Oz, and the as yet unnamed guest. So, I mean, well, the unnamed guest is way over somewhere else. Bottom line, the three people that I'm bringing up there, you can't get any farther apart than the whole globe. Like, you cannot get any farther apart than they are. So I think it would be really good, especially with the things that are going on in the world right now, you know, to not get lost in the doom and gloom and all the fear porn. I want to do like legitimate prepper questions, food storage questions, canning, and the kind of challenges that people are experiencing in other climates and in other populations, so to speak, and just kind of give everybody a different view. You know what I mean? I don't know, I just had that idea. I figured it'd be kind of fun. So I plan on doing it next Saturday at 8 o'clock. I'm going to use this time slot, not for any other specific reason than just I need a break. Like 7 weeks in a row, it's like I need a break. So, and if it takes off, then we'll find this its own special time slot. If not, then we'll just be right back to Canon. And then 2 weeks from today, we'll do spaghetti. So
There you
that's
go.
my plan. You guys wish me luck. I hope it works.
That's so awesome. I mean, seriously.
Hopefully it works. I think it'll be really, really cool. It'll be something different. That's the whole thing I wanted to do with my shows, is just to do something that nobody else has ever done. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe somebody has done something like this before. I don't know. Maybe they have. Maybe they haven't. I've never seen it before. So maybe somebody has done an idea kind of like this, but that's not where it's coming out of my head. I'm just like, hey, dude, I'm gonna just bring all these crazy people together and we'll talk. If I'm copying somebody or it's similar to somebody's show that is happening right now, I do apologize. I've never seen your show, but I'm doing it. It is what it is.
I think it'd be really cool to hear the different challenges and the different things that they deal with that maybe we don't deal with here.
Right. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get Homestead Oz up here, is because their challenges as far as being a prepper in Australia are completely different than they are here in the States. I mean, in the States, it's kind of accepted. It's normal now. In Australia, no, it's not normal. They don't accept it whatsoever. So it'll be really, really good to compare their stories with Jason's and with the third guest. I think it'll be really neat.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I was shocked, man. I sent Jason the email, and like I sent him, actually like several paragraphs describing my concept, and he sent back one sentence. He's like, "I'm in. When is it?"
Nice.
I'm in. So I was like, sweet. So I think the concept is good. It's just all going to be about the delivery now. So, and hopefully what I want to do is like each person that's on the panel, like say Jason, Homestead Oz, whoever the third person is, each one of those people gets to nominate somebody to represent a different country the following week. You know what I mean? So it's like, Jason could challenge, so hey, I challenge so-and-so to be on the next episode, 2 weeks from now. So it'd be kind of cool. It's kind of like you're kind of like, it's almost like a prepper challenge getting called out. I mean, who isn't going to answer the phone if you get called out by the angry prepper? Of course you got to show up.
Of course.
You can't not, So I think it'll be kind of cool. I think it'll be really neat.
I think it'd be fantastic because, again, like, even we lived overseas for a short period of time, and the challenges and the rules and the laws and the availability of items was so different.
Yeah.
It was really strange until you got used to it.
Yeah, it's every time I was overseas, it was like the things that we prioritize here, they don't even remotely prioritize in other places. It's really, really strange, the creature comforts that we take advantage of. I mean, I remember being in Panama, in the jungles, in the middle of nowhere in Panama. It's like 180 degrees. It's like 5,000% humidity. I'm literally dying. Everything in the woods that you touch will kill you. It's like you're scared to walk for getting eaten by these crazy animals. And then you get this little Panamanian village kid walks up to you with a jerry can from like World War II, slapped full of ice and Coca-Colas. And he's selling Cokes for like $5. I gave him $50 for a Coke that day. I mean, in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, dude, how'd you get ice? There's no power out here. I mean, what's going on? It's just like, he's barefoot. All he's wearing is a pair of shorts. I'm like wearing body armor, trying not to get eaten by the bugs, and he's just wearing a pair of shorts. I'm like, dude, crazy. Yeah. Thank you, Kicking It Homestead. I think it's a good idea. I mean, it just kind of popped into my head, and I decided to run with it. You know, hopefully I'm not stepping on anybody's toes or copying anybody, but honestly, I mean, somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I haven't heard of a show like this.
I haven't seen it. I mean, you see other channels, but to have the interaction between them, I think would be really neat. And, you know, sharing, because sometimes you don't even think to share about this, that, or the other if you're just making a video.
We take it for granted, you know, the things that we can go readily get here.
Yes.
But that might be completely different in Australia, or completely different in New York versus, you know, Southern North Carolina. You know, the prices are going to be different. The availability is going to be different. You know, I think it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I know a few people in a few other countries. I was thinking maybe I can help get, you know, somebody.
Yes. I need all the help I can get. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was thinking about, the Prepper United Nations. I was just thinking like the G7 and all that good stuff, and I was like, maybe I'll just stick to Summit. I started to call it like the P7, and I'm like, nah, somebody's gonna think of something weird to say about that. So, Prepper Summit just made sense, and then like the following week, I wanted to do something like the Prepper Summit Homestead Edition and bring in some big homestead channels, and then do like a survivalist issue. It could go a whole lot of different ways, but I want to include, the preppers as well as the homesteaders, the survivalists, things like that, and just get everybody's view.
Those three communities kind of intertwine in so many ways. I mean,
yeah, every prepper's long-term goal is to be a homesteader and be self-sufficient, Mine is.
That was mine. I went straight to that. And
yeah.
It's a lot, but it's fun.
Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be just like Native.
There you go. That boy's got some knowledge.
Yeah, I think it'll be a cool show, and I'm not going to go like crazy long with it, hour and a half. That's why I only wanted like 3 people on the panel. Everybody gets a chance to talk. Nobody's going to talk over each other. But I don't want to, drag it out and turn it into like a 4-hour marathon, like what we're doing here. It's, a quick show, nothing but knowledge, no drama, no BS. Just, hey, how you doing? I'm this person, ding, ding, ding. Straight to the point, because Jason's a busy man. He's got stuff to do, Yeah. Just him taking the time to pop in on the show is awesome. Homestead Oz. I mean, they got to get up at like a weird hour of the morning to be on the show at 8 p.m. at night. I think they got to, like, to them, it's like 8 or 9 a.m., something like that. So there's a time difference too. So it's pretty cool that people are willing to like go out of their way, to be on the show.
Yeah, the time difference might be. Sorry.
I didn't see you in the chat, Homestead. I'm sitting here pumping you up and didn't even know you were in here. Oh, Well, I broke the news, Homestead. We're gonna try to do the show Saturday at 8. I meant to send you an email. Crap. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Saturday at 8.
That'll be quite cool.
I think it will.
Oh yeah.
Time for my jiggler.
Are you funneling?
I put my jiggler on.
No such luck for me yet. A massive tank canner. And I had it preheated, y'all. And it's on a big burner. You see all this hot flame here?
Yeah, we lost power on Thursday night. Wasn't it Thursday night? I think it was Thursday night. I was talking to you, Milkmaid, wasn't I?
Oh yeah.
When we lost power. Yeah, I think it was Thursday night. Yeah, we lost power here just randomly. The power went out for like 3.5 hours. The heat of the night, sticky hot. I just plugged up my solar generator and ran a couple of drop cords and went right back to work. Not a big deal,
Yeah.
Had the computers going, everything.
I sent you a message and I was like, huh, I guess he didn't like that. And then later on you're like, oh, well, I lost power.
It's like I just had to hook up the generator. It was all good. No
There
big
you
deal.
go.
And I mean, that thing's been a lifesaver. I've had it for a couple of years now, and I probably used it 7 or 8 times when the power goes out. It's way more convenient than going, and cranking up the gas generator. Just,
Right.
flip the switch, boom, you got power. and it'll run everything that I need to run pretty much all night long.
I still need to get one. My focus has mostly been on just surviving without power, and then if we can get power, then that's nice. But
Yeah.
that's kind of been my primary focus. And if we get a generator, solar would be nice. Well, we have 2 small ones, but they're not working right now.
Yeah, I mean, gas power generators are great. I mean, they're a short-term solution to a long-term problem. I mean, they're only going to last as long as you have fuel. So you might as well go ahead and brace yourself to go to bed when the sun goes down and when the sun comes up, like they used to do it in the old days.
Yep.
It's dark. It's dark. You go to bed, close your eyes, go to sleep, get up when the sun comes up. But the solar generators, man, they're expensive, but they're absolutely quiet. They're reliable. And I mean, the ones that are coming now, they're really putting out some power. So it's, I enjoy it. I think it's a really awesome prep to have.
Sorry, I touched the button.
Do what?
I accidentally touched a button.
Oh, wow. So what's going on? Hey, thanks for stopping in, man. We appreciate it. Wild nesting, Jeff Bear's back. Kitchen and beyond. Look at Zonnie being a bad girl.
What'd you say?
I ain't putting it up on the
I never
screen.
see chat. One of these days, guys, I'm gonna have good internet.
Hang on, I'll put it up on the screen.
Something like it's great to see or watch a man playing with his jiggler. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed like chat like for the first half hour, 45 minutes of the show, getting everything jarred up. I get on a roll with the jars, man.
You were on point and focused.
Yeah, Virginia's not here, so I had to push myself.
Right.
Oop.
Yeah, she had told me she had something that she had to get done.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I ended up staying up way too late last night.
I did too. As you can tell by my eyes, I'm like dragging.
I was hoping for a cat nap today, but that wasn't going to happen. I just had too much to do. And then
This is I always say that I'm so tired, I want to pass out, and then you reach that point where you're so tired you can't sleep. That pisses me. You're so tired that you can't sleep. How does that even make sense?
Yeah, I was super excited the other night. I was like, I got everything done by 8 o'clock, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna go to bed by 8 because I get tired about that time. And I laid down, and 2 hours later, I was like, are you kidding me? Why can't I go to sleep? So yeah, I ended up taking something to help me fall asleep because I was going to be getting up at 5 in the morning. So I need sleep to function. It's important. I've noticed if we don't have sleep, then I just don't get as much done.
Yeah, so where were we?
Y'all got plans for tomorrow? I mean, don't tell me any specifics, but
I don't, other than being lazy. Actually, I think I'm gonna go work on my rabbit hutch some more. I got to get my second set of cages mounted, and
oh, there you go.
And I've got to see today's the 3rd, tomorrow's the 4th of July. No really fireworks deal. I'm sure they'll be shooting them off around here. But I've got to get Za ready to have her baby. She should be kindling in a week.
I was going to say, she's getting close, isn't she?
Yeah. I bred her on the 11th, so
yeah.
I'm going to give her a whole bunch of straw for her nest box on the 8th and just watch her like a hawk and see what happens.
No.
But she is acting different. I mean, her mannerisms are different. Plus, I'm feeding her different, too. I'm giving her extra. I'm giving her, like, fresh greens every day, like color leaves and plants every day. She loves that.
Oh,
yeah, but her mannerisms are a lot different. She's, like, a lot more, what's the word? She's not, like, as freaked out. She's, like, acting really butch. Like, she comes straight to the cage, to the door when I open the cage, and you used to not do that. So it's cool. Yeah, she's, like, getting her own personality.
Yeah, it's fun when they get their own personalities. I mean, we had a couple of rabbits that maybe weren't as friendly, we all had one favorite one. I can't remember what we named her now, but she was just the sweetest thing. I hated selling her, but she was model colored, and her babies had the prettiest furs. I mean, just gorgeous.
I know. I'm scared to see what the cream are going to look like. The cream ones that I have,
Mm-hmm.
'cause their fur is like twice as long as the rest of the rabbits, but
Really?
it's like this butterscotch color, but
Mhm.
the end of their hair is white. So they've got like this. It looks like they got snowed on, like for real.
Oh, cool.
But it's just recently turned that color. It's like freaky. Like, and they've got these really weird white markings on their face. It's like they're
Hmm.
gorgeous. They're like really, really
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah,
I always enjoyed rabbits. Like they were my favorite.
yeah, they're pretty cool.
I mean, other than the cow. Just now getting a little bit of steam.
Klingon Princess Monty Thought Process. I like that. That's a cool name. Thought Process.
Thought process.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, Klingon Princess, Monty.
Lazarus playing live stream Yahtzee. What?
Huh? What's happening?
Oh, what?
Lazarus
That's
are doing a
kind
live
of
stream
fun.
playing Yahtzee. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's.
they're doing the Lazarus, yeah, they're doing the Yahtzee thing tomorrow.
Mhm.
Huh?
And I wanted to go, but I can't make it.
Oh. We aren't probably doing anything tomorrow. Generally, there's like a town that's nearby that has like really cool fireworks, and but I don't know if they're doing it this year because of the drought and stuff, and because I have 2 sets of morning chores and 2 sets of evening chores.
Hey, Gemma's here.
Out we go. Hey, Gemma.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, everybody. I'm missing. That's all coming in right now.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to. All right, Gemma got here. We can start now.
Yeah. Hey, did y'all hear about the last cyber attack?
I don't pay attention.
No?
Yes.
I thought
Bro,
that
they're
was
attacking
excellent.
everything.
I saw these pop-ups. It's like a worldwide thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are they
Well,
attacking now? What are they attacking now?
it was right before we went live, so I only had a second, but something about there's some kind of Swedish grocery chain store that is very widespread, and I think there were other targets too, but basically
Pharmacies. There were some pharmacies too.
pharmacies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because how much does a solar generator cost? Right now, those prices vary very widely. It depends on how big and who the manufacturer is. I got mine from Energy, Inergy. I paid, I want to say $1,600, but I got the generator and I got 5 solar panels that go with it. So it'll fully go from dead to completely full in 3 hours in direct sun. And they financed it too. So it was really quite affordable. I love you too, Gemma.
Oh.
Wild Nesting was wondering what rabbit tastes like. Rabbit to me tastes like it's chicken, but better. It's like if you could take it, if a chicken and a cow could make a baby, it would kind of be like a rabbit. It's like a really good steak, but it's textured kind of like chicken, but it's better. It's like the best chicken in the world. Like I love rabbit, and it makes awesome stews. It's so good, and it's
Oh,
complete.
yeah.
And a lot of restaurants are starting to sell it.
I think, yeah, it's a lot like chicken.
Yeah, the
I
texture
always
looks
substituted
a lot.
it for every chicken recipe.
Oh yeah,
And it's got, if I remember correctly, twice the protein and half the fat of chicken. I mean, I'm a big fat girl, but I mean, if you have fat from other sources, but the protein content is quite high on that.
Oh yeah, you can substitute rabbit for chicken and not tell anybody, and most people won't even know if it's in a cooked recipe.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, most people like to seriously won't even know. If it's like a spicy chicken recipe, like you could do like a chicken chili with rabbit, and they won't even know.
Mm-mm. Well, I did chicken stew. I did chicken tetrazzini, and I would forget. I would forget that it was rabbit, and say chicken stew, and they'd be eating it and just loving it, and like, oh, meant to say this is rabbit. Sorry.
My bad. Hey, Southern Belle.
That's probably why it tastes better everywhere else I eat it.
There you go. Well, because mentally, some people have a difficulty with that.
Prepper 101 here. What's going on, 101?
Hey.
No, Gemma, you're awesome. I copy you. You're the awesomest. You're the most awesome.
101 ought to go up here and just hang with us. Oh, the
What'd you
three.
say?
I said 101 ought to just come up and hang with us because it didn't
All right.
get to you last time. He had. Did you see all of that? I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
He had some awesome questions.
Oh yeah, they were awesome.
He had them all lined up.
Jeff Bear says, how dangerous it is to run a drop cord heavy duty from a generator to a panel box. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
There's a process to that. I mean, my generator in Florida, I hardwired it into my breaker box. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you get something called a transfer switch. It comes with the box, the wires, everything you need to actually basically plug your generator into an outlet that's provided by the transfer switch, and then you have breakers in the transfer switch that run your generator. It basically is the legal, safe way to hardwire your generator into your breaker box. It costs, I want to say I paid like $120 for it. Totally worth it. When the power goes out, you just go to your breaker box, you flip the breakers on. Excuse me, you flip the main off, then you flip your main off, you flip the transfer switch breakers on, and then you crank your generator, and everything runs from your generator. The breakers that you choose, you can choose, I think, either 6 or 8 different breakers that you can run. And then when the power comes back on, you just go in the garage, turn off your generator, flip the transfer switch back to off, and then put your main breaker switch back on. Very, very easy and very, very safe. It's the only way I do it, other than just running drop cords from the generator to the house.
Now, do you have to have like a surge protector of some kind, so you're not having solar come in when your power comes back on?
It's not like that, solar, because what you do is you turn your main switch completely off, so you're not getting any juice from the switch.
Oh, okay.
And then you crank the switch for your generator, and then when the power comes back on, you turn off your generator, then switch your main back on.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then you crank the switch for your generator.
Do that.
Back on, you turn off your generator.
Hey.
Switch your main back on.
I keep hitting the wrong button.
It
I
happens.
got that problem too.
Well, hey,
Come on up, Gemma.
let me cut off a stream here.
Gemma, you want to come up here? Here's the link.
Yeah, Gemma.
You're always welcome. There she is.
Hey.
Hey, Gemma.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm awake. It's 2:15 in the morning for me, so I'm awake.
Oh goodness.
So you're 5 hours ahead of us?
Yeah, 5 hours ahead of Eastern time, yeah.
Okay, so it's already the 4th of July over there, but you guys don't care.
Yeah, the UK doesn't celebrate it. I wish we would, but it's your guys' Independence Day. So
And so they keep telling us. They just don't act that way.
it's your Independence Day breaking away from us, UK, because that's when when you guys decided to not let the UK control you, which I think you made the best decision, to be fair. The UK sucks right now.
I don't know. Here in the last 8 or 9 months, I'm starting to regret that choice. Things are getting kind of crazy. I want to move to the
UK
moon. I want to
sucks right
volunteer.
now.
I want to volunteer for the first manned mission to Mars, and I just want to go. I'm like, hey, Elon, let me drive the ship, man. I'm out of here. Let's go.
Well, you know that's a one-way trip.
That's not a problem. Plus, I saw the movie Martian. I know how to grow potatoes. I'll figure it out. I love that movie, even though it's so far fetched. It's crazy. That is an awesome movie. I love it. Martian, Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt
I
Damon's
really-
a cool actor.
I
That's a
really
really
enjoyed
good
that movie because it
I've
actually
watched it like
talked about
10 times.
food.
Yeah. Yep.
The only Martian movie I've seen has been horror movies.
Really?
So how's things going over there, Gemma? What's happening in the UK today? Where are you at in the UK?
I'm in the eastern region, so my hometown is called Ipswich. So
Okay.
I'm in the eastern region. So
Yeah, I spent 6 months over there in England and in Scotland when I was in the army in Edinburgh.
from me, the nearest the capital is London, so I can get to London from where I am right now in about an hour and 10 minutes on the
That's not bad.
train. So yeah, and I have a train station literally. If I go out my door here, 2 minutes down the road, and then I have to cross a little like subway, I can get my train station's about a 6 minute walk from where I am right now. So it's quite handy.
Yeah, it is.
So if I need to get to my uncle's or anything like that, I can just hop on the train.
There you go. The
Hey,
train
this
Which
channel,
I miss traveling because I haven't been allowed to go anywhere.
I hate traveling. Nowadays I do. It's like, what? Too many people. Too much.
If you look on my channel, you'll see like before this whole lockdown stuff started, I would go on the train like weekly and do like vlogs of me in the countryside, and I'd show you the animals and stuff like that. And then that had to all stop because of travel got banned. So
That's one thing that freaked me out when I got there. I mean, I flew into London. I spent some time in England, and most of the time was in Edinburgh, up in Scotland. But there are sheep everywhere.
yeah,
Like we have chickens. There are sheep everywhere. Like literally everywhere. Like you couldn't even train out in the field. We would be on live fire ranges, and you would inevitably kill sheep, like because they're everywhere. And then
yeah,
the military has to pay the people that own the sheep. They have to pay for the sheep, and I can't remember how many years worth of potential earnings that sheep would have made from babies. So it's like a lot of money for every sheep that you kill. So it's
yeah.
everywhere. And the food, oh my God. I was in Edinburgh, and I remember we went to, it was either McDonald's or Burger King. I can't remember which one. And you have to ask for your ketchup there, and they charge for it. Or at least they did when I was there. It was like 25 cents, I think, for a little ketchup packet. But don't mess around and think it's like the ketchup we got over here. Ketchup we got over here is like nothing. The stuff they got over there will get you drunk. Like it's literally, it is powerful. It is crazy powerful.
Really?
Yes, Lord. Like I'm just going in hard and heavy, and I'm like, I mean, it hit me so hard, I almost gagged. It's powerful, powerful. Yeah, I'm like, what is it? Ketchup? That ain't ketchup. Ooh.
There's a question for me in the chat. PAE says, "Are there many individuals that can or jar food close to where you live?" Not that I'm aware of. The only people that I know close to me that used to do it are like my family members. That my gran used to do it, and a few other people in my family can food. Like my uncle and his wife, they live on a farm estate, so they literally grow everything and can everything. So I've grown up with canners most of my life. A lot of my family can their food and things like that. So I haven't met anyone as yet who are local to me. I have to find out, see if there is anybody, but it's difficult not being able to go out anywhere because you're only allowed to go out certain places, and a lot of places now won't allow you in their premises unless you prove that you're not a problem to be sick. So it's difficult to even go out anywhere.
Yeah.
So
So
they
y'all
fairly
got passports. I'm sorry, mate.
That's all right.
So y'all got passport cards over there.
Ripper 101, Southern Belle.
Hey,
Hey, Southern Belle.
Belle.
It's the king
Hello.
and queen.
Wait,
Hey,
I
you
can't
two.
hear anything.
What's happening?
Hey, Prepper 101. It's the first time I've seen you on a panel. I've seen you in the chats.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's the first time I've seen
Yeah.
you too.
And last week on the show.
I don't owe you any money.
Great. Did you ever eat that final can of bacon? Or the one that you opened?
Oh, the Yoda?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's still some in the refrigerator.
Really?
I think. No, I guess they must have ate it.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone.
I tell you what, 50 slices of bacon would last maybe 2 days in our house. Maybe.
Yeah, bacon goes quick.
Uh-huh. What we're looking at. Oh, buddy.
Oh, puppy dog.
Hey, buddy. Buddy.
Oh, cute. Oh, that's cute.
Boy or girl?
Boy,
Who
had a
was
rough
mine?
day today. He's mad at me because I wouldn't let him go outside and play and made him get out with here.
Mine passed about a month or so ago. Same color and everything. He
Oh, yeah.
lived. Yeah, he lived to be about 13 or 14.
Yeah, he did good today. I was out, did shopping, running around Walmart and places like that. He's a service dog, so he worked his ass off today. He did a lot of walking, a lot of people. Usually, if you ever have a big day or if we're at school, with kids and stuff, I get home, he crashes, man. Like he literally gets mentally fried after he's been working.
Sounds like me.
Uh-oh, we lost Gemma.
Uh-oh. So, Miss Southern Belle, are you canning?
Hi. I am. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
I hear you.
Okay, because I just can't see anybody right now, so I don't know why. But yes, I am canning. I'm not canning the exact same thing. I am doing stew, but since I do not eat beef, I am substituting with mushrooms.
Ooh, yum. What kind of
Yeah.
mushrooms?
So these are just regular white button mushrooms.
Nice.
I did not know you could can mushrooms.
Yes.
All right, Ghost.
We found some he hasn't canned yet.
Right.
It's a good one. James Carroll says, if it tastes like chicken and it ain't, I'm not eating it. Dang. How are you going to know if it ain't?
Oh, wasn't there a movie or something like the aliens didn't know what chicken tasted like, so they made everything taste like chicken or something?
Oh, yeah. What movie was that? I know
can't
exactly,
remember.
but I can't remember what movie it was.
I can't either.
I've not seen that one.
I remember that. Where did Gemma go?
Maybe she'll be back.
I had a question for her.
I'll come back.
Southern Belle, what kind of canner you got?
Looks like a Presto.
She
Southern
got
Belle,
a
can you
good
hear me?
one.
She can't hear me.
I don't think she can.
Southern
Hey,
Belle,
Bill.
what?
I'm here. Yes.
Okay, now you can.
What kind of canner do you got?
Now I can what?
What kind of canner do you have? A Presto?
Has she got all of her apps closed out?
I think she has a delay.
I heard that
said
part
I've had a delay my
about
whole
the
life.
delay.
Oh, she just can't hear you, 101.
Oh, she muted me, man. Yeah, sign language.
What? No, I would never mute my king. What is he saying?
He's giving you sign language now.
What kind of canner do you
I
have?
can't see him though. I can't see.
I'll translate.
Oh, okay. I heard that. Okay. Yes, I have a Presto, my dear.
All right.
Presto, my dear. She's so polite. I love listening to her talk.
One of the most lovely people out there.
Moi?
Mm-hmm.
Listening to me talk?
Yes.
My students don't even like listening to me talk a lot.
Like between you and it's a toss up between you and Susanna, who I want to narrate my life.
There you go.
I think you should pick Suzanne. I love her voice.
Thank you.
Y'all both have the sweetest voices.
Oh, thank you. You haven't heard me coaching yet. I have a different voice for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you bring out your coach voice.
Absolutely.
It must be a Japanese because her lips move before her voice activates.
Oh.
There's a bit of a delay.
Yes, there's a slight delay. My internet is not very good out here. I have lots of trees and stuff going on. I don't know. It's just not very good.
What do you put in with your mushrooms?
Okay, so let me walk you through the process. What I did was I did not slice my mushrooms. Not for this. I wanted them in slightly bigger pieces. So I cut the stem. So the stem is pretty much still whole. And then I quartered my caps and I put that in a Ziploc bag with flour, with my Cajun seasoning, with some oregano, a little bit extra parsley, and pepper. Anything else? Oh, I took some thyme out of the garden and shake that up, add a little Worcestershire sauce, and then put that into my cast iron skillet that was already oiled. After that started to break down a little bit, create a little bit of gravy, added in some onions, some minced garlic. And then in another pot, I went ahead and started my broth, which is just my filtered water and my vegetable bouillon. I added in some chopped carrots, my potatoes, my celery, and then everything from the skillet went into the pot. The last thing was my spicy ketchup, my peas, sweet peas, and a little bit of salt. And then all of that went into my hot jars, and now I'm waiting for venting.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does. Sounds pretty good.
I'm coming to your house for dinner.
I want a big old bowl, and I don't even like mushrooms.
Well, come on over. Come on over. This is what I do a lot. I cook a lot since I can't and I don't, or either I can't or I don't eat out. Like I don't do fast food or anything like that. I haven't done it for a while. So I cook pretty much everything. And I have a slight background in cooking. So yeah.
Nice.
It sounds amazing. I'm gonna have to try that.
I'll tell you what, when I drove a truck, I usually stop at a grocery store, go in there and buy me a pack of the round mushrooms. I'd eat them things going down the road.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
always
healthy
thought that
snack.
I always thought the mushrooms would break down and dissolve. I don't know.
Nope. I've canned mushrooms before. And that's how I got the mushroom stock that I did the last time before the bacon one that you all did. You all were canning something else, and I was canning here. I was doing the mushroom stock leftover, but that time was sliced. They were sliced, and they're still pretty good. I have them stored, and I'll use those in pastas and on pizza when I hand make my pizzas, or in, let's see, anything else?
Now,
No, just those two things. But these left pretty much whole. You know, they pretty much stay whole.
So, what will you use those for? Just like a soup?
hey,
Yes.
snacking.
Nice. I want to try those. Have you guys ever had or seen the people that make those cabbage steaks?
Mm-mm.
There's videos on YouTube doing it. I've always wanted to try it, but they basically just take this huge head of cabbage and they cut it into like 1.5 inch thick slices. They put it on a baking sheet and they season it with like Montreal steak seasoning and extra virgin olive oil and some other stuff, and they bake them and they eat it with a fork and a knife like a steak. It's called a cabbage steak, and it literally looks delicious. I like cabbage, but yeah,
I love cabbage. Cabbage is awesome.
like how can
Cabbage
you
is the
bake
best.
cabbage like a steak? I'm like, I just want to try that. Yeah, I love cabbage.
It sounds good. I like raw cabbage. I like cooked cabbage. So sounds good to me.
I love the stalk.
I cut up the stalk and put that in stews and stuff. I
Yes,
figure
ma'am.
it breaks down really nicely and you're not wasting all of that.
No, you're not. If you can mushrooms, how long do they normally last?
Until you eat them, I
We
think they're
lost
gonna
her.
last until you eat them. I don't think they're. I think their shelf life's gonna be just about as good as any other food that you can.
Okay, okay.
I would like
Because
to try it with some portobello mushrooms.
Yeah. Terry Leach says, "Why is it that you can't thicken with flour with canning?" Honestly, I don't know the scientific term, but I know that I've always been told do not can anything with a thickening agent in it. Um, I think it does. Thickening agents absorb moisture, so if you're going to can with a thickening agent, it's probably going to turn into like a great big blob of whatever was in the jar. But I know you're not supposed to do a thickening agent. You're not supposed to can pasta. You're not supposed to can rice because they'll just turn into like pudding, supposedly. I have heard that you can can egg noodles. I've never done it. Mark at Rolling Homestead last night mentioned that he found a way to can noodles, but it has to be with egg noodles, which would make sense. But yeah, as far as the thickening agents, I was told not to do it, so I just never have. They always say can your food, and if it's something like you want to make a gravy, or you want to thicken it up, do it afterwards when you're eating it.
Yeah,
hello,
gravy
big
doesn't seem like it
woman.
lasts long.
We lost Bill.
Yeah, we did.
Because I was going to tell her, like, so my favorite way of cooking mushrooms, y'all want to hear it?
Sure.
Even though you don't like it, Ghost? You might like it if I made some like this.
Okay.
So I take my mushrooms and I slice them, right? Get my pan real hot, my cast iron pan, and I put butter in it.
Yep.
And then you put the mushrooms in. Do not add salt because the salt will start to pull the moisture out of the mushrooms. And you want it nice and hot. So, and not put too many because the moisture will come out of them quite a bit. So basically what you do is you kind of sear them, right? And as you're searing them, once they get to the seared point, I take some garlic powder and then some salt and put it on top. And then right at the end, while the pan's still nice and hot and hopefully it doesn't have a lot of liquid. If you get a lot of liquid, I'll scoop that out and save it for something later. and then I take a little bit of like a cheap red wine and just splash just a little bit to deglaze all that brown stuff at the bottom. Just like so good. Put that on top of anything.
That makes sense, James Carroll. The viscosity doesn't allow for heat transfer. I mean, I'm sure it allows for heat transfer, just not efficiently enough to maintain the temperature that you need to pressurize. But yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense scientifically.
That's what I was wondering a little bit. That's why you also cut things up to a certain size.
The reason you do not can with flour, cornstarch, etc., is because you cannot get the center hot enough. And then, makes sense.
Yep.
You backed up James Carroll. That's viscosity. It doesn't allow for proper heat transfer.
And another thing Lena said, I really love her thinking, because I do the same thing. I use the mushrooms as the bun, and then I put the hamburger and the cheese, melt the cheese on it, and sometimes I'll eat it with a strip of chili or salsa on top.
Nice. Hey, did y'all see the knife that Zah got me for my birthday?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I did, but show us again. I knew you'd go get it.
We know he wanted to show it again.
Exactly. I mean, who wouldn't? That sheath is gorgeous.
It is.
No jokes,
you can tell
y'all.
it's really sharp too.
What?
You can tell it's really sharp too.
Man, I'm all about sharp knives. Like when you're working in the kitchen, you have to have your knife sharp. I keep that honey rod right next to me, and if something is not cutting right, I just one of these days I'm going to do a video on kitchen knife things. I probably will butcher it, no pun intended, but like those, that will help you if you have a lot of produce that you're working through and everything. Like just practicing those skills. Show us your knife, Ghost.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, how
The
thick it is.
detailing on that.
I think that's thick.
It's handmade. All their knives are handmade. I mean, this thing is razor sharp. It's like a knife and a cleaver. It's all handmade. It's full tang. It fits.
Yeah.
This thing is some kind of sharp. This is my rabbit knife.
Careful when you're doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to cut a tendon like my husband did.
Oh, and the case, man, this thing is 100% leather, hand stitched. Look how thick it is.
Nice.
Awesome tool. I've had I can't tell you how many people in the chat when I posted the video of it. They're like, "Who makes that knife? Where can I get one? How do I get one?"
OJ would love that.
Put their link in the description.
No, I forgot. I was just so excited. I just had to put the video up as fast as I could. It's like today. It's like today with Native and them coming. I'm like, yeah, Native's coming, cool. I have my phone all ready. I have my little handheld bipod. I'm gonna, video them getting here and video the whole thing. They were here for like an hour. We're back there playing with the rabbits, and Native's like, man, we should have videoed this. I'm like, dude, I completely forgot. He completely forgot, and we're YouTubers. I mean, who does that? Yeah. So they're like fixing to leave, and I popped my camera out real quick and did a little short video. But yeah, it's like both of us were going to video it and completely forgot about it.
Oh, you know he dropped a video on his way there, right?
Yeah. Little 16-second deal. Yeah. Yeah, I saw it.
I saw that, right?
Ghost. This is what my brother made. That's handmade.
He made that?
Yeah, he made that. The handle and all. The handle is cherry wood. I got to put it in a frame. That's what I got to do. But it's got designs on it.
Nice.
Wild nesting, I would probably say it would not work very well for filleting because there is no flex in this thing. It is like this. It's like an axe. I mean, it's thick, but there's no
Yeah.
flex in the blade. So, and it's so sharp and so heavy. I would probably end up cutting through the rib bones on a fish if I was trying to fillet it. It's
You pro-
it's hardcore. This thing's like a hardcore knife.
You're probably just gonna have to use the tip to do the cutting when you
Yeah.
go to butcher.
Yeah, I mean, there's really, there's not a whole lot of cutting to it, but it's gonna be my rabbit knife.
There you go.
It's gotta be the rabbit knife.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ark Wildman, how you doing?
Oh, almost pressure.
Now,
Is
my
our mom in
brother
here?
also made that.
Nice.
Dang. So does he do? Does he have a forge?
Oh, no. He's got the whole 9 yards. I mean, he's made samurai swords. He's made battle axes. He's made knives, pocket knives, kitchen knives, and so forth. I've got 3 of his kitchen knives. I've got, the axe and that kukri, and I also got one that goes on my side.
That
Right
is
there.
cool.
And this is what I bought for my wife for her birthday. This is what I bought for me after she uses it.
Oh. That's funny.
No, but I'll tell you what, if you want to see what type of work that he does, can I drop his link, Ghost?
I don't care.
It's knives made by Roy Gross.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Check it out. I mean, if it's not right, he's getting rid of it. It's got to be perfect.
Hey, who wants to see some rabbits?
Let's do it.
Me, duh.
Cool. Let me pull up
I still need to get some rabbits. I almost picked up some wire the other day to make some more cages, but I was in a rush.
go to big thing here.
I almost got me a free chicken the other day, but the truck wouldn't drop none.
What's got you a what?
A chicken.
Why would you get a chick? Like,
Yeah.
how would
Well, see, we live in the heart of chicken country, and they pick up chickens, every 7.5 weeks. So I followed one all the way to the plant, but he never dropped one off. Or should I say, one never escaped.
Oh. Good, the bunnies. That's a creme d'argent.
I like that one right there.
Pretty.
Yeah.
I wonder if he has volume there. They really are beautiful animals. We used to pamper ours. They like poplar leaves, like whoa. Aww. I've lost count of how many rabbits he has now. That fur, that's really pretty. Yeah, he must not have volume. Oh yeah, he's muted. I wonder if he knows that. Yes, you're muted.
Okay. Better?
Yeah.
Did you see them?
Uh-huh. That first one, is
Yes.
that the creme d'argent?
Yeah, that's the cream d'argent. I can't even sure how to pronounce it. All I know is they're gorgeous.
It's French. Anybody know French?
D'argent. Is that
Right.
right?
Wee wee.
Yeah.
You know it's
I had 10. I had 10. Now I got 8. Hopefully in a week I'll get 6 or 8 more.
Je m'appelle Susanna. Comment tu t'appelles?
Do what?
I said, Je m'appelle Susanna. Comment tu t'appelles?
woo.
My name is Susanna. What is your name?
Wow. Your voice actually got thick. Is that possible?
As if like we didn't even realize it was possible, Susanna.
Let me hear you say, "Don't touch the jiggler," Susanna, in French.
I don't know.
Susanna, je m'appelle Southern Belle. Comment ça va?
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, she's better than me.
We're getting
Comment ça
cultured
va?
over here today. We're getting some culture.
Dang.
Man, I can't even speak English. You guys are speaking French.
All right. No habla inglés.
Wow.
I learned a couple of phrases when we were going to go to Paris. When we went in, we were in Germany for a while.
Right.
So we could drive to Paris and kind of, sort of, maybe. Never mind, I won't say that online. We drove to Paris, and I was practicing phrases the whole way, and I would try it, and the people would smile at me and then speak in English. I tried.
It's like I remember when I went to Miami the first time. I used to work on elevators and stuff, and I would have to go to Miami a lot. But the first time I went, I'm just walking across the street from the hotel, going into the drugstore to get something to drink, and literally I had to go find someone that spoke Spanish because I didn't speak Spanish. Don't go to Miami, especially not South Beach, and not know how to speak Spanish, because you ain't gonna get nothing done, like, for real. No, yeah. And they look at you like you're crazy. I'm like, wait a minute, this is Miami, right? Miami is in Florida. Florida's in the United States of America. Why do I feel like I'm in Cuba? So, like, literally, if you don't speak Spanish, you ain't getting nothing done. English is the second language in Miami.
My kids kind of got my son and my daughter were going on a cruise, and then my daughter got sick before they even went on the cruise, and then she had to go to the hospital, and then they're like speaking to her in Spanish, and she's like, I don't know anything. Sorry, I dropped something. And yeah, it was just kind of crazy. We had to get them back out here, and
Yeah. It's on my bucket list to be multilingual. I haven't gotten very far, and I'm almost halfway through my life, so I gotta get on that.
Yeah. I mean, I took like 2 years of Spanish in high school, and I took 2 years of ASL, American Sign Language, in college. But like a lot of it just didn't stick. I mean, it's like a lot of the sign language, I still know quite a bit of it, like phrases and terms and certain words. But like the meat of the topic, the way to communicate, it's just like you got to really dedicate yourself to doing that.
Yeah, like
I took I don't know, when I was really young, like in kindergarten, first grade, they started teaching us the American Sign Language. But I don't remember any of it because I never like used it or anything. And
well, the problem, and the funny thing about ASL too, it's like any other language. Like, it depends on where you're at in the country. there are they literally have sign language accent. Like it's funny. Like the same word could be signed like 15 different ways depending on what part of the country, what part of the world you're in. It's like really, it's the coolest thing I've ever heard of. Like literally, when my ASL teacher was explaining that they have different dialects and different lingos in ASL depending on where. Like in New York, ASL in New York is not the same as ASL in Florida. You guys probably have a hard time communicating. Like it's that different, but it's still considered the same language. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. In high school, I took French and Spanish at the same time.
That would be hard.
It was.
When I got upstate New York, Fort Drum, for the first time back in 1989, I remember going into a store. I think I was getting a pack of cigarettes or something. I was asking for my Marlboro at the counter, and the lady looked at me like I was completely out of my mind and lost, and she just stared at me. And I'm like, "What?" And she was like, "I don't understand a word you're saying," and I had to learn how to talk. More Yankees. They people laughed at me so hard because of my accent up there. I mean, I was from the deep south up in upstate New York, and they're like, "What is this white boy talking about? What is he?" I don't, and I had to like learn how to speak up and kind of get the accent across just where I could communicate.
Yeah.
We were stationed in New York at one point, and went to a restaurant. We were broke, young, all that fun stuff. So we finally got a chance to go to the restaurant. And we went in, and a lady looked at me and she was like, "Where is she running? Did you see that?"
Yeah, that was cute.
Like if you run across the camera real fast, it won't see you.
I've seen Lee's kids do that too.
Oh, look, there's this cute kid.
Where were you stationed at in New York?
Montauk.
Montauk. Okay.
That was when he was in not the army. He was in the Coast Guard first.
That's
But we were stationed out there, and we went to a restaurant, and I started talking to the person taking the order. She goes, "Oh, you're from the South, aren't you?" And I'm like, "I thought I didn't really have that much of an accent, but apparently I do."
Yeah. I remember when I went to I think it was either Waffle House or Perkins, one of those up there, and I ordered grits, and the waitress looked at me and she said, "What the hell is a grit?" I want a bowl of grits. She goes, "Well, what the hell is a grit?" And I'm like, "Y'all have grits?" No, they don't know. Then she said, "Well, we got cream of wheat." And I'm like, "Who wants that? Nobody wants that. I want grits." I literally had that. My mom boxed up grits and mailed them to me. Like, you couldn't even buy them.
Yeah. It's kind of like chili and stuff too. If you want the good stuff, you have to order it and it's to certain places because not everywhere has it.
What's up, Hillbilly Homesteader?
Yeah, the North does not know what sweet tea, Coca-Cola, or Pepsi is either.
And then they had the lady at, I can't remember what restaurant. I asked her, "Yeah, do you got sweet tea?" No, we have unsweet tea, but I can bring you sugar. I'm like, "What the hell is that going to do? It's going to sit on the bottom."
It ain't the same.
You got to put the sugar in while you're making it. You can't put
Yep.
sugar in the full tea. I love watching people take a spoonful of sugar and dump it in iced tea and stir it up. Like, what is that? It just drops right to the bottom.
Milkmaid, why did you lose pressure?
Pardon?
Why did you lose pressure on your cannon? The heat?
Oh, I didn't. I'm slowly bringing it down so that it will jiggle the right amount of time. It shouldn't jiggle constantly.
Right.
It should only jiggle. Should only jiggle every now and then. But if it's too much, then it's at too high a pressure. So I'm slowly bringing it down to where it's steady. It'll keep pressure.
What is
I have to babysit it.
As long as mine stays over 11 and jiggles about 3 times a minute or so, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Like when I first started canning, I know I canned some stuff at too high a pressure because I was worried. I want to make sure, so I was jiggling like way too much. But I mean, I've ate most of that stuff and it's still perfectly fine.
It'll, from my understanding, it will only hurt if you run out of water, or if you don't jiggle enough.
Right.
But if you drop
Not
pressure
gonna
too
go there.
fast, if you drop pressure too fast, doesn't it cause a vacuum?
If you drop pressure too fast, it'll pop your jars.
It'll pop them. They'll expand.
Oh, they'll blow up.
That's why you see me get up and I'm slowly like bringing it down to where I feel like it's a good heat. Because when it first starts, the pressure has built and it's not going to jiggle as often. It starts jiggling like crazy. And then you guys got my crazy eyes and everything. And then slowly it'll come down to where it needs to go. And I used to use timers, but timers irritate the ever-living daylights out of me. So now I write down my time.
I had one explode in the cannon before. It makes a noise, and man, does it make a mess. I think I was doing spaghetti, and it exploded. I think it was a bad jar. I believe it had a crack in it, and it just exploded. And I mean, there was.
I do always. Oh, sorry.
I was saying I'm glad the lid was on it. It was closed in that pressure because it would have messed up the kitchen. Spaghetti sauce everywhere. Whoa.
Yeah.
Milkmaid, y'all's flies up there is about the size of our mosquitoes down here.
You noticed them, huh?
Twice.
I mean, I could entertain y'all by running around with a fly swatter. I figured that maybe might not be a professional. I did it. They're always sneaking into my house. I mean, I've got animals out there.
Oh. Well, you live on a farm, right?
Right.
Well, you're going to have
they're driving nuts, though.
Yeah. Agreed. They will drive you nuts.
Once my jiggler is settled down a little bit, I'll move so you guys don't have to hear it constantly. This portion of the kitchen, man, I had a girl interrupted stomach there. This portion of the kitchen is very small.
Doesn't bother me any.
I wonder who all caught that reference.
Yeah.
The chicken? You did? Okay, good. Clever boys.
Southern Belle, you doing pints or quarts?
I'm doing quart.
Oh, I meant to ask, what is the processing time on the mushrooms, since I haven't done that before?
I'm doing 45 minutes.
Okay. That is pretty cool.
Yep.
And I got to go back and watch from the beginning. But did you guys cook everything before you put in there? Or is everything raw? The meat, the vegetables, everything's raw?
Cooked everything. I raw packed. I did everything raw.
No, I only cook the meat.
Oh, okay. Cooked the meat.
Honestly, though, because if I had pre-cooked the onions and the carrots and the celery and everything else, if I had pre-cooked them, they would have been kind of mushy at this point. Like once you cook to the meat time. Right. And I didn't want them totally mushy.
Yeah, I cold packed everything, but I made a broth, not a broth. I guess it's called a broth. I used beef stock and beef stew packets, and I spread that in instead of just the water. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more flavorful.
Oh, and you want to know what I put in the pan when I was cooking them? 101?
Ghee.
What?
Ghee? Use your ghee?
No,
bacon
I said
grease?
Bacon grease.
Bacon grease, yeah.
Then I put a glug of this.
Glug.
In the pan juices.
Now,
and then it'll cook off.
Is your glug like the chef down in the South? I cannot think of his name.
Oh, I don't know. There's a couple, aren't there? Are you talking about the guy with the goatee?
No, I'm talking, he is probably about 10 years ago. The Cajun, something Cajun.
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about. He's hilarious.
As he was pouring a cup of wine in there, when he would tip his cup, he would not move his bottle, and it was still coming out.
Like,
Yeah.
I think he died.
He
Like
did.
literally, well,
Yep.
honestly, because I had it in 2 pans, it was like a splash splash and then a splash splash. I don't measure much.
Justin
Yeah,
Wilson.
Justin Wilson, yeah. Professor
Oh.
Falcon, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I used to love watching Justin Wilson.
Oh yeah.
You know
Throw in
who
some
my
onions.
nerdy heart always loved watching Alton Brown.
yeah.
Who?
I like
And
Oh,
Alton.
yeah, I liked watching him too.
I never
Oh,
heard of him.
But I'll tell you who my favorite, my favorite one right now is Cowboy Kent Rollins.
Oh, yep,
Oh.
I love him too. I
He-
talked to him. He's
That guy
like
can cook.
he's like my grandpa.
Yeah, he
I love
cook.
that guy so much.
Like, he can cook. I
Oh,
like his, he did the Cowboy hamburger helper, like his own hamburger helper.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen him. What's his name again?
Cowboy Kent Rollins. He's all
Yeah.
over you. All
Oh,
over
Is that
you.
the guy that cooks on the Dutch ovens?
Yeah.
Oh, I love him. Oh, I got a Dutch oven. Oh man, I love those.
Y'all gonna have me like YouTube and cooking channels.
Oh, this does
Yeah,
it
that's
good.
he's good. Yeah, you can make a lot of stuff in the Dutch oven. I love the Dutch oven. I'd rather use that than barbecue.
I love
My
it when
favorite-
he breaks out and dance.
Yeah, I've not seen that one.
I like Alton Brown for the geeky stuff because that actually is kind of helpful to understand the science behind things. And then I love Gordon Ramsay because, well, he's a punk, and that I just have a soft spot for punks.
Yeah.
Like,
Gordon Ramsay's like Hutch if he knew how to cook.
right, exactly. My sister-in-law, she is such a huge fan of his. And then she ended up going to Las Vegas, and they went to his like Hell's Kitchen or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they didn't get to see him though. She was really bummed.
Yeah, right now my favorite online cook is Southern Belle Teacher. I love watching her cook.
Uh-huh.
Aww.
He is a good cook.
So wait, Southern Belle, do you have a channel?
Well, she's on right now.
Well, okay, there you go. I'm just saying, maybe she should think about it. Maybe.
For me,
Yeah, we need
I've already
that.
thought about
Did you get your knife yet from Gray?
That's what I was going to show you. Hold on.
Yeah, you need to do an unboxing and a review. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Milkmaid got me the other day. I thought you were going to do a riding lawnmower. I swear to God. I go, oh, wow, she's going to do a riding lawnmower. Because I've been giving Hutch a bunch of shit about Will and me over his lawnmower. And I go, wow, I'm going to check out it. I like your barn. I want to see Backwoods' shop, right? Because I want to get a barn. I want to get a shop.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, hey, a riding lawnmower, maybe I need to get one out. And here you are, you got your sheep eating your grass. I'm like, oh, man, I fell for that.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, boy.
Yeah. I'll show you once I clean up all the junk that's laying everywhere right now. It's a mess.
There you
Oh,
go.
Milk
Right.
Queen, you should be getting inspired right now.
that's the same one I got.
Oh, hold on. Hold it up again. My son was getting, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Was that also a bayonet, too?
So you
Does it got a big hole on the top?
No,
No, it doesn't.
that's the
No.
USMC bar.
No.
Don't
Okay.
mess
I got-
with the bell.
I got one somewhere just like that, but it's a bayonet. It'll fit on
Yeah,
my
me too.
AR-15.
Have you seen I can't remember who had it, but there was somebody in this community got a K-bar samurai sword.
Mm.
Really?
Oh,
Somebody actually, I don't know who, I'm assuming it's custom made because I haven't seen it before. But it's a K-bar samurai sword. It's pretty wild looking.
Hey, Milkmaid, get on that website and see if he can't make you a K-bar samurai sword.
On your brother's website?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. You posted the link in the chat, right?
No, I ain't put it up. It's just Knives by Roy Gross.
Grace, as in like Amazing Grace?
No. Knives. Knives
Uh-huh.
by Roy Gross. Groce.
Groce. All right, I
Correct.
will look that up.
All
You
right.
see, my husband likes knives too.
Are you going to
He's
be
definitely.
surprised at what he's got?
Huh?
I said, you will be surprised at what he's got on his website. Everything on there, he has handmade,
Yeah.
even the sheaths that go for it.
Very nice. All right, I'm gonna move y'all out of the kitchen now that this is stabilized a bit, because that jiggling's probably annoying. Take a walk with me.
Sound like jingle bells.
What?
McKean,
Sound
I
like
have something
jingle
for
bells.
you.
Huh? What's that?
That's your banana nut bread.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you can can banana nut bread, right?
I do.
Can you can bread? Yeah.
I think so.
And it'll last a long time too?
As far as I know. I've never done it.
Yes.
I've seen people do it.
See, that would be good. Bread. Yeah, bread's a pretty good little comfort food.
I miss
Got
bread.
I
some,
do quick breads and
I've got
cakes.
some of the pint and a half, I think they're called. The wide mouth, but they're smaller than a quart. They're like in between.
Mm-hmm.
And the jar is about the exact same size as the wide mouth. So they're more narrow than a regular pint jar, a quart jar. But somebody said they were perfect for doing canned meatloaf.
Huh.
So you raw pack it, all your stuff, and you cook it, and then the whole thing just slides right out of the jar.
Really?
Mm.
You know,
'Cause I
I've
love
never
meatloaf.
made meatloaf.
What? I love me some meatloaf.
Oh, wow.
You've never made meatloaf? No way.
I get crazy creative on meatloaf. I take it and I fill up the bread pan, the meatloaf pan, and then I'll dig a big ditch out of the inside, and I'll fill it full of Velveeta macaroni and cheese, the shells and cheese. And then, oh man, you want to talk about good? Good stuff.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
There ain't nothing no better than a meatloaf sandwich.
Yeah, meatloaf. Yeah, meatloaf's good. Cold meatloaf sandwich. Yeah, meatloaf's good. You can put anything in it too. I put rice. I put corn. I put anything in.
oh yeah.
I'm gonna make I'm sure you guys made stuffed bell peppers. Oh, I
Yeah,
do some on next days off. It makes the house smell so good. Like that bacon. We did that bacon a week ago. Man, it's still with that bacon grease. It smells awesome in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Have you used
I
it?
love
bacon
stuffed
grease?
bell peppers.
No, I haven't.
So the other day with some of my extra bacon grease, I sauteed, made it really hot, and I sauteed cauliflower, and put some garlic and stuff. Oh, it's so good. Not too much, just enough. Oh.
I tell you, this thing got to where I can't even cook without garlic. I gotta have garlic. I put garlic in everything. I put garlic in scrambled eggs. I don't care. I put garlic in my grits.
So do you use fresh garlic, or you buy it in a jar, or what?
Huh?
I have used the fresh before, but I like to get the stuff that's already minced and it's got its own juice in there with it.
Yeah, I think we got that.
It's freaking easy. That's
Ghost dehydrated.
I use that quite a bit.
Yep, that's what I got.
Oh yeah.
And I only do it because my hands stink like garlic for a week, right? If I do this fresh.
Hold on one second. Let me use this for.
Oh, go ahead. Ghost, dehydrate you some garlic, and then after you dehydrate it, kind of mince it up to where you like shake it out of a pepper shaker. And that tastes
Bad
great.
idea. Yeah. I've got a brand new dehydrator. Haven't used it yet.
And there you go.
So you see, you can't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Why?
What? Why?
It's so easy.
I don't know. Between trying to keep up with y'all and doing canning shows, I ain't had a chance to dehydrate.
Just go pick some plantain out of your yard and throw it on there. Like, seriously.
I am definitely gonna do some bananas for sure. Oh, I just found.
Except if you're doing habaneros, yeah, I about choked on them.
Oh,
Look what I found at Walmart. I have never seen this before.
Look, man,
Right up.
how far south are you? We've had them up here for a long time.
I got those on my shelf.
I've
do
never
Never
seen
seen
them yesterday. I'm like, what? Fried apples? Snatched up about 6 of them. Never seen them before.
You must be past Highway 10.
I'm on the border
Oh, no wonder.
up north in South Carolina, not Florida. I got the hell out of Florida.
No.
Tell you what, they make good apple fritters too.
They're my backup goodies for if things go south. Because, like, who doesn't love a little bit of fruit? We don't eat a lot of sugar, so.
I got 2 bags of green apples I'm going to dehydrate tomorrow. Now, I done 1 bag of green apples about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I diced them up. That's what I'm going to use to make apple fritters with. I got, out of 5 trays, I got 1 quart jar.
Yeah. That's what I love about dehydrating is that you can take a massive amount of food and store it in a jar.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I might eat one of these tonight.
You're what?
I think I might eat one of these tonight.
Hot sausage.
Oh yeah, look at them habaneros in there. Jalapenos,
look.
habaneros. Look at all them seeds in the bottom.
I wish my
Nice.
stomach was about 30 years younger.
Oh, that's right. You were here when Mark ate that pepper, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe you did that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
Bet
tell you what.
you hurt for a while.
Back in my younger
I heard
days,
with the dude. Yeah. Yeah, man.
back in my younger days, I could eat Penrose hot sausage. And do y'all remember the barbecue pork rinds that come out? How hot they were? We would have a contest in the car who could eat the most before we took a drink. I went through a bag and a half of the pork rinds and 2 jars of the sausage. I was hurting.
I don't really like hot food. I like food if it's got the right amount of spice, but to just like brutally burn inside of your mouth, I can't do that.
Now Penrose, I've not seen no Penrose sausage in a good while. That was the best.
I have. They sell them down here. I still eat them. Yeah. They come in different levels.
Do they sell them in the gallon jars down there?
I want to say it's a half gallon.
I'm gonna have to get up with you. That way, I can give you some money and my physical address.
Oh, you need some stuff. You know, you can just order them from the company. They'll mail them right to your house.
No, I did not.
Yeah. Especially with the pandemic, everybody's mailing stuff to your house now. I mean, you can order salad dressing online 1 bottle at a time if you want to. I mean, everybody mailing.
You told me that. I've been done ordered 4 or 5 of them before I'm off of there.
Oh yeah, you can order anything online now. Everything. You know, you can buy a car sight unseen and have it delivered to your house.
Now I have saw that.
That's true.
They got that car vending machine that does that.
Well, they started that 20 or so years ago. Vince McMahon, the guy that runs the WWE, started that motorcycle company. I think it was Victory Motorcycles. And they were custom made All American motorcycles, but you could go online and pick out all the different types of engines, the different suspensions, what color seat. You could completely customize that entire bike. One person built that entire bike, start to finish, and then boxed it up, and they delivered it to your house.
Lord have mercy. Well,
That's
we was
crazy.
up in the mountains over the last weekend, and I saw 2 motorcycles. I about died for them. One of them was a 3-wheel Harley Davidson, the new one, where the looked like the old school 3 wheels. And then another one come in. It was a Honda, and I've done heard about them. The Honda rides better and costs less than the Harley, but I don't care what anybody says. You gonna tell what that Harley is, but just as soon as it cranks up.
I tell you what, I like that new electric Harley. That thing is beautiful.
I've not seen that one
Oh,
or
man.
heard of it.
An electric Harley?
Yeah, it's all electric. They first had it on the
rumbles,
TV
though.
show Hawaii 5-0. They had it on the TV show Hawaii 5-0. That was their first generation, but they've redesigned it. It's awesome. It's gorgeous. It was actually in I think it was actually in one of the Avengers movies too.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think Black Widow wrecked it when they were trying to catch Ultron or whatever his name was. Age of Ultron. Yeah, I think she crashed it. But yeah. But I know they got an all electric motorcycle. And it's sweet.
I'm surprised Batman didn't come up with it.
I know, right?
But here's the thing: does it rumble?
No. It hardly makes any noise at all. It's electric.
That
Well,
means
who
it's not a
knows?
Harley.
That's the
It's
killer.
gotta
Yeah.
rumble and bumble
You gotta
and
have that. You gotta have that noise. That's one thing that kills me about electric cars. Like my old boss, he had one of those hybrids when they first came out, a hybrid Lexus, where the gas engine didn't start until he like needed it to. And he could like literally pull up behind you in a parking lot, and it makes absolutely no noise. The only noise that car makes is the sound of the tires, hitting the concrete. I mean, it's completely silent, and it freaks me out. I'm like, dude, how do you know if the thing's on? I don't. Yes.
Well, Ghost, was that the car that you could be going down the road at, let's say, at 55 miles an hour, and it would be electric, but yet when you give it to gas, the gas engine would come in?
Yeah, a lot of cars are like that now. With the first, those ugly cars, those Priuses, they were that way when they were first designed. It was all electric until you needed power, and then it would kick in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's why they call them hybrid, because they have more than one engine or more than one type of fuel.
Now, I can deal with that, but I cannot deal with pulling over every 5 hours charging it up.
Yeah.
I take road trips. I ain't pulling over every 2 hours to charge my damn car. I'll drive 20 hours straight.
Yeah. They're
And if there's a
legislating
power
now
outage.
for pedestrians. Yeah, that was my point, coast to coast. If you're in a vehicle, especially a car, that doesn't make any noise, that's dangerous. Like literally dangerous. Because you can't. I mean, people rely on using their ears to hear, traffic and cars and things like that. But it's completely silent, especially on a motorcycle. Can you imagine how dangerous that is?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Harley
now,
rides, want to make that noise, you hear them coming. But if you're
what
on,
about a blind man that's wanting to cross the road?
that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I would assume most blind men have at least, well, no, probably not most. I have a seeing eye dog, but maybe not.
I don't know if a seeing eye dog would hear
Oh, they can hear everything.
it. Yeah, that's like my wife. Me and my son done a test one time. We was in a 70-foot mobile home. She was in the bedroom on one end of the trailer. Me and my son went into his bedroom on the other end of the trailer, shut the door, and whispered. Come back in there 10 minutes later, my wife told us everything we said.
Called mom ears.
I don't know what it's called, but I put a name to it. It's called a man's nightmare. Oh
They'll
no, wait a
always
minute, hold it.
whine.
I'm wrong. A married man's nightmare is a wife that don't forget. That's what it is.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, we put up with a lot too, you know.
Well, if y'all knew me, y'all would probably be in the crazy house.
What?
I mean, look, in February, me and my wife's been married for 41 years. She has gone through hell. I have gone through hell together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she is a 3-time cancer survivor. I've had a massive heart attack, but still, we are together. We are by each other's side. And before all this started, I was the type that would give my wife hell,
Yeah.
like that. I think when she had her second go bout is when I grew up. The child got out of me.
Well, that's kind of impressive. I mean, I was pretty proud of 20 years. You know, now I got a new goal there.
Uh-oh. But it's what you make out of it. Me and her, we growed up in an era when something broke, you didn't throw it away, you tried to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
If we had arguments, it started out as screaming, hooting, and hollering, but in the end, we'd sit down like two rational people and talk it out. And I hate to say this, but most of the time I was wrong.
Say what? Did you just say the R word?
Yeah, I did. I did.
How the hell do you think you made it 41 years?
Exactly.
Southern Belle, don't hate me. I know it starts with a W.
I'm hushing my mouth.
It was a joke.
The secret to a married life is 2 words. Yes, dear.
Right.
I would agree.
Well, we've been this October, it'll be 30 years for us. And his is yes, dear. As well.
He's learning too.
He was like, honey, which size? Wide mouth or regular mouth? Be like, wide mouth, darling.
Well, now I don't ask how high because I can't even jump no more.
There you go. That's funny. Can y'all hear the dogs barking? Good. Because we had fireworks.
I thought that was my neighbor talking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got 5 dogs, but our neighbors, probably between all of them, have got at least 30. It's
Lord
ridiculous. Rabbit beagles, of all things. That's so much fun. They never stop.
That means you got a lot of rabbits out there.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen very many rabbits.
Now, where I'm at in my backyard, I guarantee you there was probably about 10 or 15 last month out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was wanting to get my rifle. My wife said, don't you do it. I said, yes, dear.
Smart man.
Yeah, especially while she's home.
Right. When she's not home, you're just like, doop, 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 doop.
It's like hunting season. Come hunting season, you don't see nothing. As soon as hunting season's over with, you see them everywhere.
Actually, I thought something was rather odd recently when I was driving to go to the other farm to take care of it. I saw at least 8 deer on the road at like 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, or I guess early evening. But that's strange because normally they come out after dark. And I thought maybe something was up because, you know, animals, they know things.
They do.
If you watch, if your animals start getting all edgy, I mean, they'll do that before an earthquake.
Yep.
Before you even feel the first tremors.
Well, now, I cannot remember what network this was on. I was watching. I don't know if it was Ghost, Prepping 101 or another one. But they was talking about a detector for earthquakes. Get a metal, I'm going to say bowl, okay? And get you 2 or 3 silver balls and put in there.
Silver balls?
Yeah, you know, like you move around in your hand for tension and everything.
Oh, okay.
Put you 2 or 3 of them in there. When you start to have a tremor, they will move around where nothing else will.
I guess that actually makes quite a bit of sense.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to get off of here. It's going on 30. And let me know when you're going to start canning mushrooms. Let me know what I got to have along with the spaghetti sauce. And I will be canning with y'all.
All right.
Yes, good seeing you, man.
Y'all folks have a good day. Oh, that's right. I've been, my camera's been off. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Jeff.
Have a good evening.
Y'all too. Bye.
Bye.
Milkmaid, is that a double oven you have?
It is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it came with the house, and I was kind of excited about it. It was filthy as all get out. This whole house is falling apart, but I cleaned it up, and it's working really well. But I'm going to move to a place where it's not quite so loud.
That'd be awesome. Like on Thanksgiving or something, you can cook a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, the top one is rather small, but if you only have a single
you're just doing like
something,
side dishes, that's perfect.
It is. Although normally, like, Thanksgiving isn't here, but like last Thanksgiving, I was stuck here with a brand new calf. She calved the day before Thanksgiving. I was going to go see everybody, and she dropped the calf, so I had to stay and milk. Luckily, the kids could drive, so they went down and saw everybody.
What'd you have for supper?
I was a little depressed. I had a bottle of wine. Or like half a bottle. But I think I had pizza. It was good. I love pizza. I've got it stocked in all the fixings for pizza in my long-term pantry.
Yeah, Costco sells some shelf-stable pizza that it's the bread and the sauce. It's good for 6 months to a year.
Really?
It's pretty damn good. All you need is some cheese and toppings, but I'm telling you, it's pretty damn good.
Well, I've got the fixings for cheese. I just need to learn how to make it better.
Yeah.
The guy I'm farm sitting for, I wouldn't take payment because I told him he milked my cow, but he only milked the cow for a couple of days, so I felt like it wasn't fair. So he gave me the press for a cheese press. I just have to get the molds. And then he showed me his little cheese cave, and I was insanely jealous because he's got like, is it Gruyere cheese going? He's got a sharp cheddar going. Like all these awesome cheeses, and I'm like, oh man, I need to make time for this.
Yeah, I like my cheese.
My problem is that I want to learn how to do everything. I want to make furniture. I want to make cheese, soap. Well, I have made soap. All the tinctures. I want to paint. I want to play the violin. I do everything.
This is why I can't get anything done. because I have all my sewing stuff. I have everything for my quilts. Have I made them? No, they're still sitting there because I'm trying to do canning too, and I'm trying to do dehydrating, and I'm doing all this other stuff. Doing all this other stuff. I'm even behind on my journaling, but I'm trying to get caught up on that.
Man, you guys are doing all this stuff to better yourself. I still got to set the clock to the right time since the time change on the microwave. Man, it's still an hour off.
That's awesome, though.
Man,
Oh
Yeah,
gosh. So
that's my
Milkmaid,
goal.
I'm about
That's my
halfway
goal.
through your
That's
list.
my goal before the next time change. Yeah.
do tell me.
I'm off.
Well,
I,
tell me about your list. What have you gotten done? I mean, as far as
No,
all
I
this,
said
tell me.
right. So I think what did you say? You said painting. So I don't do very much of that. Not very much painting, but you said violin. So I do violin, viola, and cello. My main instrument
Oh,
is viola. And then what else did you say? What did you say on your list?
cheese making, furniture making, shoot, painting, play the violin, soap making. I
Uh-huh.
have done soap. That's fun.
mhm,
Okay.
It's not as
mhm.
scary as people make it out
Okay.
to be. Just snow falling on the lake. Add the lye to the water. Snow falling on the lake.
So with soap, I haven't made the solid soap, but I've done
Yeah.
liquid soap. I used to have a small business where I made hair and skincare, so you could use it full body. So soap was one of them. Furniture
Really?
making, not really there yet. Cheese, I do a dairy-free cheese and I can it.
Do you? What do you use for the
Yeah.
dairy-free cheese?
So my
Uh-oh, she froze. Oh.
base is can flavor it from there with cashews.
Like cashew milk? You broke up.
Yes. Uh-huh. With you, but it has to be a little bit tartness with the yogurt.
Okay. I'll have to look that up because you know there's Rain Country. Have you heard of her?
Mhm.
She does a variety of things. Have you seen her, Ghost? She's freaking phenomenal. I
Her
love her.
and Northern Girl Hobbies. I love watching her videos.
Hmm.
Makes like the best videos ever.
Yeah, both of them. But she does a variety of different soaps too, and then she makes a bunch of different kinds of nut milks for
Okay.
people who are vegan or anything. Because she was for a while. She's not anymore, but she always includes things like that for those who choose to do different things. Like me, I have my choices and other people have their choices, and I'm totally fine with that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I've never made liquid soap before. You have to use potassium. Hold on. What is it? I can't remember the two different types. There's sodium hydroxide and sodium potassium. Is that correct? For the liquid soap?
So
Not
my base is a black soap.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I've heard of that. I'll have to look at see. I need to make I don't have enough time. I want to do everything.
Mhm. And that's what I love about journaling too is I paint in my journals too. I draw, I paint, I print out pictures and put those in there depending on what I'm doing. Like with my canning, I've been printing out the pictures of what I'm canning, and then I
Mhm.
journal about all that, you know, how the process is, if it worked, what happened, why it did or didn't, you know.
That that's smart. Stephanie, it was Rain Country. Like Rain Country. They're in Washington. I've learned a lot about like soap making and tinctures and herbs and all kinds of stuff. Dehydrating. She's really good with dehydrating. They grow everything on a shy third acre.
Wow.
And it's impressive. Like they have not an urban, but more like a suburban homestead.
I can't believe Virginia Roots hadn't popped in here and trolled us or anything.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah?
I came on and she wasn't here. I was like, what happened?
She had something to do today. She told me she wouldn't be able to make it, but I figured she did, made time to come on here and troll for a minute.
Well,
Probably
she
been
said
watching
she was
the
going to
entire time.
try, but I know she had a long drive or something like that.
Yeah. Yippers.
Now, Ghost, you use a electric top, right, for your stove?
Yeah.
And it's glass. It's a glass one. How do you like that?
Works perfect.
Yeah, I used to have one. It just I remember it was a pain in the ass to clean if you didn't stay on top of it. It would build that like crust on there, and it was you'd be up there scrubbing the shit out of it to clean. But it did. It actually heated up. It heated up quicker than the regular electric elements. The old school.
Oh yeah, this thing's on. It's on like steroids.
And I guess they got the new ones now. They won't even turn on unless something's over it. There's a safety factor in there.
Pressure sensitive. This one's got a huge burner on one side. It's actually a double burner. Like I can literally put a pot of water on there with both burners going on the. It's a dual burner. It's massive, but it's got like double the rings of heat elements, and it'll like boil water like in like 3 minutes. Like it's crazy. It's insanely hot.
See, when I get my homestead going, I'm gonna run everything solar and wind power with battery backup, and I probably won't. I love natural gas. We got a natural gas stove. I love it, but I'll switch everything to electric. So I'll probably have electric stove. So
yeah, I'd love to have all solar one day.
That'd be cool. See, the reason I like having a propane stove is that you could have multiple tanks, and if you only use it for cooking, that'll last you so long. If you have like the large ones, like I want to say we have like a 320 gallon, I think, like one of those really big ones. But I'd love to own like several of them and have those one source.
You just have one tank?
We just have the one. But
how long does it last?
Well, with heating our home, not that long this last winter. Like when I ran the numbers, I looked at my husband because we were wanting. We have the ability to put in a wood stove, and there was a wood stove. In fact, I have char marks on my kitchen floor for proof. But not from me, from the people who lived here before who trashed the whole place. But I told him, I was like, even if we had to buy firewood, even if we didn't split it, cut it, anything, just bought it and brought it in, we would have saved so much money if we had just bought the freaking chimney liner and put it in. Because I want to say this last winter, it cost us about $1,800 to heat our home over the winter.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It was insanity.
Like my heating and air here is on natural gas.
Yeah.
Power is electric, but my hot water heater is propane. So
yeah.
I want to say 100 gallons in it, or 100 pounds, however they add it up, back in November, and it's still got probably 15% left of what I originally put in there. And that's the hot water heater. That's the only thing that's on propane.
See, if I only ran my stove on the propane, it would last freaking forever. I mean, it would last a very long time. And, not only that, I would love to get one of those solar ovens. You've seen the solar oven, right?
Yeah. I actually watch somebody make it.
See, I've seen that too. The one thing I like about the one that you can like buy from that company is that, and I'd love to engineer this. And I wonder if SHTF engineer could put something together like this. That would be really cool because he made a vacuum chamber. Did you see that? You ought to check his video out. He made a vacuum chamber that you could use with a brake bleeder. See, Rain Country, they actually invented one and then sell it on their Etsy store. But he did a video on how you can make it yourself with fairly simple parts. And you could vacuum seal jars with, say, a brake bleeder. And that would include the jars that you could recycle, like, pickle jars, the ones that have kind of the thinner lids that don't have as many threads, like a canning jar. So you could take the jars that you purchase food in, save them, and then use those for your dehydrated goods. I mean, canning jars are kind of, you can find them, but they're still pricey. If I've already bought something that has the lid and I can vacuum seal that, then why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be all cutesy matchy, but it works.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of vacuum sealing in my jars with a brake bleeder, and I've just got the cap that goes on it. I just sit in my hand with a brake bleeder. It works just fine.
It does. But what's cool about the building a chamber? Oh, her timer went off. What's cool about building the chamber is that you don't have to, because those attachments for your mason jars won't fit with the other one. So this you can reuse all of them.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, going back to the wood stove, I'm gonna end up getting a cook stove, and it does three things. It cooks your food. You can cook as a stove and an oven. Use it to heat your house. It's got a small firebox that you can it'll burn 10 to 12 hours. They're so efficient.
Yeah.
And then the third and the best one is they got radiant tubes inside that you hook to your hot water heater, and it heats your hot water all the time. And as the water doesn't get hot in the tube, it actually siphons and keeps circulating. The water from the hot water tank, it keeps drawing it. The heat keeps moving the water, so you're not sitting there just overheating the water in the stove.
So you basically have on demand hot water.
Well, if anything, it would make it would be less draw for my electric to run the electric hot water heater, right? So it would make it more efficient.
Yeah.
You need to move and build your homestead. I want to see all this stuff, and you're gonna.
Yeah, well, that's my plan. I know I'm a big ass troll, but when we end up doing it, I was gonna do make it into like a series, like a season 1, episode 1, from the day we bought the dirt until whenever it ended, or if nobody watched it or whatever. But yeah, I've looked at the cook stove. The cook stove is awesome because you got on demand cooking, because where we're gonna be, it's gonna be up north, so it's gonna be cold anyway. So you're always gonna have the stove going, and it'll heat up 80% of the house. And so you can bake in it, you can cook in it, it heats your house, and it does the hot water heater too.
Sweet.
I love those kinds of things.
They're actually pretty cool looking. They look old. They're modern, and they're real energy efficient, and they're also EPA approved.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a solar hot water heater.
Approval, man.
Yep. Yeah. I think I'm gonna just do a solar hot water heater. Like, I'm gonna figure out the pumping system. Probably just use a pool pump or a pond pump. But I'm kind of gonna take it from the way they do the swimming pool heaters in Florida. People have them on the roof, the big black panels. But I was thinking about just getting a whole bunch of PVC pipe and just running a grid pattern, all up and down the roof, paint it black, and just have hot water, all solar.
There you go.
Man.
Yeah, well, you can even, I think some of them, you can put like a type of a mirror on the backside so it reflects the heat even more.
Yeah, I've seen people make smaller ones like in a box, and they'll do like the aluminum foil reflective and then paint the back black, and they put the plexiglass over the top, and that stuff gets super hot, like really hot.
I've seen those. Those are super cool.
Mm-hmm. I even saw one guy who did a hot water heater, all natural. He just ran, he had PVC pipe, he painted it black, and he just ran a bunch of it back and forth in a grid pattern inside his compost pile.
Mm-hmm.
The compost heats water for free. And he used that in his greenhouse. He heated his greenhouse with compost. He had 2 small compost piles in each corner of his greenhouse. He had like a 100-foot long greenhouse. And during the winter, that's how he heated his greenhouse, was with compost, which is smart. Dangerous. You got to watch it, but it's smart.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you get the ratios right, usually you're
Yeah.
not going to go combustion.
Yeah, he didn't use huge piles. It was smaller piles. He didn't like it. I mean, it wasn't like he lived in Alaska or anything. I think he lived in like Montana or Idaho, something like that. But it was just enough. Plus, his greenhouse was kind of sunken into the ground, so that helped a lot too.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a geo-heated greenhouse or geo-heated, geo-cooled. That's the way to go. It's like my basement. My basement stays at between 68 or 65 and like 72 year-round. Like I was down there in December and January this year in shorts and a tank top, building my rabbit cages, and it was completely comfortable, and it's 20 degrees outside. And then it's been, upwards of 100 degrees here during the day, but you can go in the basement in the heat of the day, and it's like 68, nice and comfy.
That's what I'd love.
It's awesome. Yeah,
Hey,
I should have named the basement today. He's like, dude, I'm jealous.
Belle, did your timer go off?
Oh, no. Yes, it did.
Yeah, mine went off a while ago.
Oh, I need to go look at my time probably. I'm looking at it now. I'm probably at an hour and 15, maybe.
I'm at like 8 p.m. Still about half hour left. Hello, stuff.
I won't say. Hold on one moment.
Yeah, having a basement solves a whole lot of problems, especially with storing your food in a cool, dry place, eliminating the need for a root cellar. Obviously, it's a storm shelter. But like legitimately, if it was like a grid down here and it was in the middle of the summertime and I didn't have access to an air conditioner, then just go sit in the basement. Yeah, Stanley says their basement stays about 64. Stephanie says their stays around 65. Winter. Southern Belle. So how Southern Belle are you? You South Carolina girl?
Oh no, I'm dirty South Southern. I'm Louisiana.
Uh-oh.
Louisiana.
Yeah, I used to live over there. I lived in Jackson and Canton, Mississippi for a while. I used to do a lot of work down in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Man,
Yes.
it blew my mind going south on 55 when like legitimately right after you hit the state line of Louisiana, you get on a bridge and you don't ever get off of a bridge the rest of the time you're in Louisiana. Pretty much, like so seriously, like it's like I'm riding down the road down 55 on this bridge and you look off and there's just nothing. It's just swamp here, swampland. But you'll see like this random parking lot. There's just a parking lot full of cars. There's a paved road to a parking lot. There's not a building in sight. There's just a huge parking lot with room for like 50 or 60 cars. And it's right up to a boat dock. And it took me for the longest time to figure out what this was. And I finally asked somebody, I'm like, dude, what's with everybody just parking their car out in the middle of the woods? I don't understand. And they're like, that's how they get to their house. I'm like, what do you mean that's how they get to their house? They park their cars. That's where they get in their boat and they take the boat to the house. I'm like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, there ain't no roads out there.
Right.
I'm like, wow. It's a trip.
So are you northern Louisiana or southern Louisiana? Are you deep, dirty?
I am southeast Louisiana.
All right. See,
so I'm not deep where, for example, Pierre Parr. I don't know if you've seen Swamp People. I used to watch that a while ago, but I'm not that far. I'm probably a couple hours from them.
Gotcha. I had family in Louisiana on my dad's side, kind of Shreveport area.
Shreveport.
Yeah.
I got a friend
Okay,
in
see, we call
Monroe.
that Ratchet City.
I got a friend in Monroe, Louisiana. Is that close to you?
She shouldn't say exactly.
Not close to
Oh
me,
yeah,
but
sorry.
that used to be my old stomping ground, so I know about that area. I didn't live very far from. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with Duck Dynasty people, but I didn't live very far from them. Back off in the woods.
There you go.
I remember going down there before the hurricane and then going down after the hurricane. It was a whole different place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever fully recover. Like some of those neighborhoods, like they're just abandoned. They're just what are you gonna do? Could you imagine trying to pay property tax or property insurance? Do they even make people have homeowners insurance when you live below sea level? I mean, is that even legal?
Well, it's
Yeah, you
like
used to have to have all that stuff.
Here in California, it's not a requirement to have earthquake insurance. But
really,
if a big earthquake happens and you don't have earthquake insurance, you're screwed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you would think
flood's separate. You know, you don't even have to have flood insurance.
Once you get hit with enough devastating earth, I mean, there's a lot of companies that probably don't want you to get earthquake insurance because they don't want to have to pay out if the big one hits. It'll break them. It'll completely break them. So that's one of the reasons why I left Florida, because every year I was there, my homeowners insurance was going up $500, $1,000 a year. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? It's because of hurricanes. I'm like, I've never made a claim ever. And every
You're
year,
paying for everybody else.
Paying for everybody else. I'm like, oh hell no, I'm out. See you. Bye. Go back to North Carolina. Not here. Y'all can have this.
See, I'd rather live in earthquake country than live in a hurricane or a tornado.
Yeah.
Tornado, at least a hurricane, you get like what 3-4 days warning.
Yeah.
Tornadoes, like what? What the fuck?
I mean, I grew up in the tornado area. I mean, I grew up with tornadoes all the time. I mean, there's like, it's not that there's no warning. I'm not in like Tornado Alley. I'm in the Carolinas. But like, if I was in somewhere like Kansas or something like that, I'm not. No, I would. Literally, my house would be underground. Because I mean, there they hit you without warning. It's just like whoosh. At least here, usually there's like a massive thunderstorm that comes ahead of time, and you know, hey, we're probably gonna see some tornado action, and you can kind of look at it on a map, and you're like, that's nowhere near me. So you kind of get a little bit of warning, not a huge one, but yeah, the earthquakes. I mean, I lived in California for about 8 months. I lived in San Francisco. I literally lived as close to the San Andreas Fault as I could possibly get. I went through a couple of small earthquakes out there, but it's like, now, look, that whole city is in trouble. I mean, I would walk the streets. Most of those buildings in San Francisco would not pass code here on the East Coast. They would have been demolished. They're literally, you can see cracks in a 10-story building, brick building. You'll see cracks in it, right? And you'll have the engineers there, and they'll go inside and they'll run a huge metal threaded rod from outside wall to outside wall through the building. They'll just screw it together. Literally, that's how they hold it up. I'm like, no way. There's basements in all the businesses and stuff, like on Broadway and downtown. Their basements used to be ground level floor. They used to be the first floor. When the huge earthquake hit back in the early 1900s, like the ground in downtown San Francisco out by the water actually used to be water. There's like ships buried under there. And there's even one outline of a ship on the street where it's marked with bricks for some famous ship that they buried. But when they were expanding, they just pushed all this fill dirt into the bay and just took land. Well, when the earthquake hit, it just like solidified that sand and everything just sunk. So a lot of people's businesses and houses, their first floor is now their basement. And you'll see some houses on some of the streets, to go into the front door, you have to go down steps to get to it. Like they paved the roads, they're higher, but like your entryway to your house is 4 feet, below ground level now because it's sunk. And it's still sinking.
That's nuts.
Oh, it's crazy. And there's this network of caves underground all through downtown San Francisco. It's like,
yeah, it's the worst place to buy a home because that soil. It's like New York. a lot of that is man-made. It's all landfills. So is Florida. A lot of Florida has been filled in by man. New Orleans is below sea level, right? It's all been filled in. So those places don't do well in earthquakes. In San Francisco, the soil will liquefy, and it will just soak everything up like a sponge.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, part of that. San Francisco was the weirdest place I have ever been, and I've been to a lot of places.
Yeah, I won't go back there. I've been there a few times. I won't go back there. It's a
Like,
shithole.
It'll literally scar you for life. I mean, like, I remember the first day I was there, I came out of my hotel room and I walked downstairs and I go out onto the main strip, Columbus. I was real close to Columbus and Broadway, like one of the most famous streets in the country. This thing's on all kind of TV commercials and stuff. But I walk outside and there's this guy, and this is a true story. He's sitting on the largest Tupperware bowl I have ever seen in my life, and it's full of weed, like pounds of weed. Okay, and he's got a Ziploc bag, a gallon Ziploc bag. He's sitting there just rolling joints and putting them in the bag, rolling joints, putting them in the bag. That's enough to freak most people out. The problem is he was carrying on a conversation with a cop. He was talking to the cop while he was rolling it up. I mean, it was just business as usual there. I mean, it's just
Nobody cares about.
everybody does it, so they don't even acknowledge it. You know what I mean? It's like, and then I remember at any time, random during the day, you'll just see a naked person running down the street. Man, woman. Oh yeah. There's it's very, very, very unique place, to say the least.
Probably not a pretty one either.
You know, San Francisco's all right. Don't get me wrong. If you're in there, but if you stay there a little too long, you start to get to see the real San Francisco. And the people there that live there and live or work in the city, they're all pissed off because they're working for nothing, right? They're working, they treat everybody like shit. And the homeless problem that they talk about with people pooping on the sidewalk, that you go there and it smells like a homeless park.
Oh yeah,
right?
Like they'll defecate right in the street. I mean, they'll whip it out. And
The parking garage smells like a porta potty. It's bad.
Oh yeah, that's where all the homeless use. And most of the people that work in San Francisco don't live in San Francisco because they can't afford it.
They can't afford it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are people out there making over $100,000 a year living in a car.
Yeah. Yeah, they're literally mad because they're making good money. If they were living in Kansas, they'd be kings, but they're poor, right?
Like
it's probably like $4,000 or $5,000 to rent a studio apartment.
One bedroom, like 450 square foot studio closet apartment is like $5,000 a month.
Yeah,
crazy. I'm like, nope, I want a part of that.
And they tax you on everything there, everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's
when you go to a restaurant, you pay an extra tax to pay for the insurance, the health insurance that the owner of the restaurant doesn't want to pay.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And they actually care about their dogs more than they do about people. Like you can take your dog anywhere in San Francisco, restaurants, the whole 9 yards. It does not have to be a service animal or anything. But they have like trees, planted in the sidewalk. And each tree will have like 5-10 square foot area around it, earth and soil, and they'll beautiful lush green grass. And they keep it well maintained, but that's for the dogs to do their business on. And there's a crew that actually comes around every single day and cleans the dog poop. They don't mess with the people poop. They step right over the people poop that they clean up after the dogs. It's a trip. Like
That just lets you know where your priorities lie. I mean, not that I'm anti-dog or anything, but
it's like they love, and don't get me wrong, I love animals, love dogs, but to me, it was just like funny. I'm seeing a crew of people that work for the sanitation of San Francisco out cleaning the dog areas, but they will walk right over, a pile of human feces right on the sidewalk and just step over it and keep on trucking. It's just weird. It's just completely backwards.
Yeah.
Just the same.
Oh.
I mean, it's a cool place to visit. Go in the daytime. Hit Fisherman's Wharf, stuff like that. I mean, there's some really cool stuff to see, like really cool stuff to see during the daytime. You know, at night, get out of the thing, get out of the city. You don't even want to be there. It's just nothing but trouble. Like literally, like in Chinatown, and that you have
Oh
cops
yeah.
go there. They don't even go there when the sun goes down. You're
Yeah.
lucky to be on there during the daytime. They don't even go there.
I was the first time
tomorrow.
the first time I went, I was too cheap to pay for a taxi from the pier back to the hotel. And so we hung around the pier until it got like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I go, you know, you think it's really not that far, but I go, fuck it, let's just walk. So we walk and I thought we knew where we were, and ended up going through Chinatown, but not the regular part of Chinatown that, you know, where you drive through and you hang out all the restaurants. It was like some back streets. And yeah, it was, it was pretty scary, man.
Yeah, it's pretty rough out there. Like really,
What,
really,
you
really
scared?
rough.
Yeah.
Like Chinatown's pretty. The cops will tell you they don't go there. They don't. They handle their own. They handle their own stuff in Chinatown.
Yeah.
They take care of their own people. They don't need your help. It's something else.
It goes. I left you a private message in there, man.
Okay.
You do know that everybody in the private thing can see, yes?
In the who?
Oh, you're cool with that?
In YouTube or just in here?
On the panel.
Oh yeah, I don't care. That's fine. You scared me there, man.
Whoopsie.
I thought she was, yeah.
No, sorry, I
shit.
didn't mean to scare you. You're like, well, time to change number.
Good thing that's not my number.
Sorry, didn't mean to. Yeah. Sorry, I have to keep checking on this stuff. Got it. So, Southern Belle, did you finish everything? Did it cool off and everything?
She's down to 0, almost.
No, not yet. Almost.
No?
But
Okay.
I
like the
have
cookies?
finished pretty much cleaning up my kitchen, so that's a good thing.
How long have you had that Presto?
Ooh, not that long. Maybe almost 2 years now.
Yeah. Oh wow, you've had it a while.
Good night, be charming.
Good night, Be Charming.
Yes, good night, please, Charming. You too.
Be charming.
So there you go. She has a Presto too.
Do you have a gas or electric cooktop?
I have electric.
Electric, and it works
I
smooth for you
would
too.
like a gas, but hopefully when I find another house and move, that would be nice. But right now I have electric.
So do you have gas 101?
Yeah, natural gas.
Okay. Did you have trouble regulating the temperature? You said you did at one point.
So that last Saturday, I did a test run while I was cooking bacon with just water in it, and I had a hard time. I couldn't keep the pressures. The pressure was back and forth, back and forth. I really thought I was going to have a bad time that night. But the difference was, I'm guessing, is when we did the bacon, I had the jars in there, so it kind of it controlled the temperature easier. So I actually, when we did it the other night, I had to slowly adjust the temperature, but nothing like I did on the practice run.
Yeah, with just water in there, because I mean, we're basically using water as a thermal medium to transfer.
Yeah.
The heat. If all you have is water, it's gonna. Yeah, it probably would go haywire.
You don't have that solid to help hold on to a little bit of that heat, so I was going up and down. Yeah.
One thing I noticed too is if I fill my canner up, like say, if I did 2 layers of pints, put 16 pints in there, it heats up super fast and it cools down relatively quickly. But if I just have half a load, it takes longer to heat up because you've got to transfer, that you don't have that thermal mass hanging onto the heat. It's so easy to regulate the temperature when it's completely full. If it's not full, it's kind of hard. And my stove is easy to work with. I mean, I crank it up once it starts once the jiggler starts doing this thing, I mean, within 20 minutes, I've got mine turned down almost all the way to low, and it does its thing for the hour and a half. It's pretty easy to work with. This stove is. My other stove wasn't. My other stove, I had to stand by it the entire time. But this one, it's pretty smart.
Yeah, I forgot. I need to order one of those. Emily found that jiggler you can put on there. I got it saved on Amazon. I need to buy it just to try it. It's it help control, make it. I think it'd take a little bit of the
stress
stress out of it a little bit.
It's like,
But it was actually pretty cool. I'm ready to can again. If I wasn't off today, I'd be up to canning with you. Or if I was off today, I'd be canning with you. Did you see my message I left you on your community page about the Angry Prepper?
Yeah.
Did you email him?
Yeah. I emailed him and he responded back like 6 hours later. He's like, yeah, I'm in.
Oh yeah, you missed that, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
You
101 was
announced
into that. Yeah. I'm doing a new show. I'm gonna start it next Saturday at 8. It's called Prepper Summit. And I'm gonna grab preppers, from all over the globe to have a conversation. So next Saturday, right now, I've got the Angry Prepper, and I've got Homestead Oz coming in, and I'm waiting on a confirmation from one other person in a completely different part of the world to go in here and talk, food storage, canning, all kind of prepper stuff, but from different countries. From different countries, so you can kind of compare. So we'll take next week off on the canning and then pick it back up the following Saturday. But I did email him a couple times. I know he was interested in the canning, but I think he's just so busy. Man. That guy's so busy. It's gonna be hard for him to carve out 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, you might have to do it on a different day than Saturday too with him. Yeah. That'd be cool. I'd go up there on that panel. That'd be all right, man. I love that dude.
Yeah, he's cool. Him,
You guys got starry eyes.
Him, Homestead Oz, and I'm trying to get a hold of the guy from Norway, Bjorn.
Oh yeah.
Bjorn, yeah.
He's awesome. Yeah, he's cool. He's a bearded dude out in the woods up in Norway. He's really cool. I'm trying to get it for him because that'd be 3 people. You can't get further apart from each other on the planet than Norway, Australia, and New York. I mean, they got 7,000 or 8,000 miles in between each person. I just thought that'd be kind of cool, kind of change it up a little bit, do a new show.
That would be neat. I just I like my culture, but I love seeing other people's lives,
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot when I talked to Homestead Oz. They had me on and interviewed me, I don't know, a month or so ago, and we were backstage before the show for a good half an hour, and the stuff she was telling me about how they do things in Australia, prepper wise, versus here, and how it's not accepted. I mean, you're literally looked on as out of your mind in Australia if you're even remotely prepared. Like ostracized. They ostracize them. I mean, the censorship is through the roof. Like her channel has been shut down midstream so many times.
Yeah. Oh, there she is. She's back.
Milkmaid, how many gloves have you had today?
About 3.
Yeah.
Wow. None for me. I'm drinking Pepsi.
Oops. Well, now I've really thrown myself off. Sorry.
I can't wait to see Southern Bell's food, man.
All right.
Who? Like, I'm excited.
Hey, 101, did you see that knife that I got me for my birthday?
Yeah.
I love this thing. I can't stop pulling it out of the sheath.
Looks good. It's got a thick tang on it. That knife's not going to break on you.
No, that's an eighth of an inch thick, man.
Yeah, that's a solid knife.
Now
that's to go through bone right there.
Oh yeah.
The detailing on that, is that hammering or is that folding over? What is that called?
It's
Japanese to it.
It's kind of like pit marks. Like there's texture to it. Like I don't know how they did that, other than maybe a press, or it could be hammered in there. All I know is the knives are all supposedly handmade, and I mean you can tell that the handle is handmade. You can tell that somebody actually carved this themselves because none of the scrapes on it are straight. I mean, you can tell it's hand carved.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really sweet. and
I
heavy.
like that it has a full tang.
Yeah, it's got a full tang. I like the finger hole in it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're having to do the cleaver. But I mean, this is legitimately that. Honestly, this thing's probably better made than my bayonet. I mean, this thing is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously hurt something.
Look at him. He's just like eyeballing his knife. See, I need to start carrying a pocket knife on me when I'm out and about. Because I'm always like, there's a fencing thing that I have to do. I need like more pocketses. Cargo pants or something.
I would literally walk out of my house probably without pants before I left without a pocket knife. I have at least one on me everywhere I go, like for real. I mean, there's one on me. There's one in all my bags. I mean,
So are you telling us you're not wearing pants right now?
no, I'm saying I would literally have to forget my pants in order to forget my knife. Like literally, when I change pants, when I put these in the laundry, the knife goes in my new set of pants pocket before my wallet goes in. That's like the first thing I transfer over. I couldn't function without a pocket knife.
See, I got one from work. I got a knife for work, and I very rarely bring it home. I leave it in the locker when I come home, and it's a dull, and that's the worst kind of knife you can have is a dull knife. That's the one that's going to cut your hand off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to put down all that force down there on it, and go right through a finger.
Mm-hmm. I've had it. I've had one lock fail. I had the lock fail on my blade before. And it hold it.
Yeah.
Cut me right off the top of the knuckle.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Milk?
So my husband has a hook thing that we have on our wall or door, and he has his work clothes and he has his nice clothes. And in each pair of pants, there's a pocket knife, like a flashlight, a lighter, a chapstick, all these different things that you would keep on your person. And the nice clothes, go up on the hook to be reused because, you don't get them dirty in one use. And then the work clothes, you use until it's time to wash and that kind of thing. But he has like this whole system. I'm not allowed to touch it. He's very particular. And if I do touch it, I better put all the things back in when I put them back. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, that's it. The work pants have got to be washed, buddy.
Yeah. When you have a system.
Well, they did. Well, yeah, he was used to having a certain system. So I just work with that. I have a totally different system. Mine is more artistic.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out before and not had. I mean, I've been here literally at the house in the yard and reached for my pocket knife and didn't have it. And I'm like, what? And I remember that I used it in the basement and left it sitting on the counter. Actually, I think I used it in one of the videos, and I was showing it as a tool for one of my videos and forgot to stick it back in my pocket. And I was like devastated because I'm like, somebody stole my knife. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh no, I left it. Okay. I was like all over the place. Where's my knife? Where's my knife? You know.
Oh, we've had stolen things before. Like because we used to do ditty moves where you do it yourself moves, and that was cool. But I gave up after a certain period of time with a certain number of moves, and so I would let packers come. The problem is, man, you got to watch them, and when you have 3 heads. I had a bunch of Russian dudes when we were moving from Germany back to the States, and some things went missing.
Well, yeah, they know you're not coming back.
What?
They know you're not coming back,
Yeah.
And I bought them lunch, and I even had a shot lined up for them with vodka at the end and everything. Like I was a perfect person towards them, and they stole from us. It was horrible. It's not against Russians. It was just these dudes.
Yeah,
I think they're awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. My brother, he moved and he had a moving company do all his stuff, and I couldn't do that. I got too much stuff. I don't want nobody to touch, much less see. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I don't want you knowing what I got in my house. I mean, could you realize, like, a moving company's employees are like a cat burglar's best friend, right? They have an inventory of your entire house. not only what you have, but where you have it. You know, I mean, if I was a crook, I would be networking like crazy with moving companies. You know,
Like on Home Alone.
Oh,
Remember
that's all.
Home Alone? They were a mover. They were. That's what they did.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, you're right.
And if you think
Huh.
about it, that's the best way to get all the intel you need. You know,
The wet bandits.
the wet bandit.
Stuffing the rags down in the sink. Oh, I love those movies. They were
Yeah.
painful to watch. It was like, well, it wasn't quite as good as Laurel and Hardy. Nothing as good as is as good as Laurel and Hardy. God, I can't talk. A glug glug is not a full glass, by the way. It's like that much.
I wanted to say, yes, it
Saying.
is. That's like my favorite term ever from any movie or any TV show was Game of Thrones. Like on one of the very last episodes, remember the great big giant guy, Tormund Giantsbane or whatever? He was like the wild big beard and he fell in love with the big white girl. I remember. Remember when he said, when they were celebrating, when they were having the big party after they defeated the Night King and they're all getting wasted, and he's drinking and he's trying to get Jon Snow to have a drink, and he goes, "We're celebrating, drink." He goes,
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
He goes, "Growing up is not celebrating," and Tormund Giantsbane goes, "Yes, it is." Like seriously, growing up is not celebrating. Yes, it is. I was like, oh my goodness.
He like
love it.
seriously had a crush on her too.
Oh man, he had it bad. He was like my
He
favorite
had
character.
it.
I love that dude. He was a trip.
Now you read the books, right? You have to tell me you read the books. Ah, okay. If you like the show, the books are, as always, a gazillion times better. Like,
Gazillion. I may have to look.
amazing.
I may have to add that to my prepper library.
So what do you think,
Definitely.
Milkmaid? Do you think like in the books, because you know it's so different.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. How
The
far
books.
have you gotten?
Oh, I read the entire series 3 times.
Did
Wow.
you?
Yeah.
So he finished them?
Well, okay. So they took artistic liberty
Yeah.
with the TV series, but the books themselves, like, well, he got cancer, I want to say, and so he kept saying he was going to do another book, and I was waiting, man, because the whole the children of the force, like, there was a whole storyline there, but the books were so much more intense.
Yeah, they kind of killed it the last season. It kind of ticked me off, especially the battle at Winterfell with the Night King. I mean, really? I mean, it was awesome that Arya got to kill the bad guy, but there was such buildup, and it was like one stab to the gut, and everything stops. I'm like, wait a minute, that's it?
Well, that's where the artistic license, like, that was where they flopped, I felt. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the visuals. Like, I think that they did a great job of doing the visuals, but they lost a whole lot of the intensity of everything. Like, I don't think they even cover anything down where like super down south where there was that like black prison thing. You know what I'm talking about, Suzanne, because you've read them.
This is all new to me. They didn't cover any of that, but they didn't.
Oh.
It's like the last season, you know, the 6 episodes or how many episodes it was in the last season. They crammed so much stuff into that last. They crammed like 4 years worth of storyline into 6 episodes in that last season, and I'm like, why would you do that? I mean, it could still be running right now.
Because they had another project and they were trying to get it done.
Well, they killed it. I mean, because it could literally right now still be on HBO, and like we could still be that entire storyline, and they killed like the money.
And if you think that was good, in the books there are more characters that are in the show. There are some things that happened in the show that didn't exactly happen. It happened a little bit different way.
Right.
In the book. Yeah, the
shows
books are more
about it.
intense.
Right.
Buy the books, buy them hard copy, and then keep them in your library because if anything goes awry, you'll read them over and over and over again.
And
That
now
and
now the new series is supposed to be coming out pretty soon. The House of the Dragon.
Hmm.
Yeah, they've already started filming.
like a spinoff.
Yeah, it's a prequel about the Targaryens.
About the who?
The Targaryens.
The Targaryens.
Oh, okay.
It's a prequel that covers like everything leading up to where the Game of Thrones started.
Okay. See, I don't really watch TV that much anymore.
Me neither, to be honest with you. I mean, I do everything on my computer. I mean, I'll do the Netflix, I do the Amazon, the network news. I don't have anything to do with that.
I got rid of cable 2.5 years ago.
I don't watch cable at all. I don't have any time. I quit watching football. I quit watching NASCAR. I quit watching all of it. When it went political, I got no time for it.
I'm a huge Dodger fan. In the first game of the season last year, they all kneeled down against the flag, and I was like, I quit watching baseball. You know, I mean, I used to go like 10 games a year. It's like I don't even watch them. They won the World Series last year. I didn't even care.
Coming to a sporting event with that kind of audience for somebody just because they're empowered to turn it into a political statement, to me, it's just there's just no place for it there. I mean, you shouldn't. When you have that kind of power and that kind of influence and that kind of audience, you should not ever be allowed to take sides on anything political like that, whether you believe in it or not. You shouldn't do it. You know, but
I never was into sports anyhow, and yeah, when I say TV, I actually mean like Netflix or
that's what I mean.
Because my actual TV, which is a big freaking TV that I got for a heck of a deal, because the dude bought it and then it didn't have something, and he sold it to me for like half the price that he just bought it for. And it hasn't been plugged in like 5 years.
Yeah, my TV is, I want to say 3 years old, and I think it's not even plugged up. I want to say it's actually been on. Put it this way. It was plugged into my laptop via an HDMI cable for me to watch YouTube videos. That's how much use my TV got. No cable, none of that. I used it as a monitor for my to watch movies, like for real. No cable, none of that stuff. I don't use the TV.
No.
No, not anymore.
Well, how's it looking, Southern Belle? You down to 0?
It's down. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes and then I'll take them out.
I'm
excited.
really.
I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait. I just turned my heat off on my my canner.
Mine's almost at 0.
When she listed off all those ingredients, man, I ain't gonna lie, I started getting hungry. I was like, man, let's eat.
I don't even like mushrooms. I'm like, can I have a bowl?
It's only about a 29-hour drive from my house to your house. How long will that stuff stay warm?
29 hours.
Holy cow.
You must be desperate if you're making that trip for 29 hours straight.
We drove Houston, Texas a couple years ago, straight home. It was 25 hours straight. Bam, all the way.
There's Matt's dad in the chat. Doc Max here.
Hey, guys.
I might go to Idaho next week. Go check that out.
The most I've ever driven was 25 hours straight.
Yeah, that's what I did, 25.
That was from Bangor to Dulles Airport. Bangor, Maine, all the way down to Dulles. And driving through New York, man, I hate driving through there. Whew.
I crash landed at Bangor, Maine. I said I crash landed on a military jet coming back from in Bangor, Maine, coming back from Europe. Like we were coming back from Scotland, and they flew us back on a Royal Air Force jet. And I remember boarding the jet in Scotland. I'm like, this is a weird looking plane. It had 3 engines, one on each wing, had an engine on each wing, and an engine literally in the tail. I know you've seen those planes before. There's an engine actually mounted in the tail housing, and then there's an engine on each plane, an engine on each wing. But the thing that really freaked me out was that it was the Royal Air Force. So it had these great big bullseyes painted on it. That's their logo. It's like a bullseye, right? I'm like, this is just awful. So then we get on the plane and all the seats face backwards.
What?
Yeah, the seats face rear. Don't face front. They face rear. And I'm like, this is really weird. So we get on this plane, and I mean, it looks like it was like it literally looked like the Wright brothers helped build it. I mean, it was ancient. And we're flying on this plane over the ocean, and it was just so weird because I'm looking out the window and we're just getting lower and lower and lower. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I noticed that that we heard a like not a boom, but like a knock, and the engine on the starboard side went out, and we're getting lower and lower. Then the engine on the other wing goes out, and we're getting lower. I'm literally looking at fish in the ocean, right? I'm watching whitecaps. So we were literally maybe 150, 200 feet off the water, all right? And then the pilot's like, all right, they're trying to, everybody's trying to get everybody calm. There's some military aircraft. We're getting lower and lower, but nobody's saying anything. And I'm looking backwards over my shoulder out the window trying to see what's going on. And I can see land. And then you would hear the plane. It sounds like the engine's about to explode. The pilot was giving it like all that it had. And that one engine was working overtime. And he nosed it up, and we're starting to climb a little bit. And I promise you, I looked down and I saw power lines. We had to climb to get across the power lines. And the next thing you know, we're touching down. I mean, that's how it was like, boom, we're in Bangor, Maine. Here's the funny part, right? So that's like a major hub from going across the sea. So you got planes from all over the world at this airport. So we crash landed basically. Nothing was on fire. There was none of that stuff. But so we're at the end of the tarmac. We're probably 2 or 3 football fields from the actual airport. So we're like out there on the runway, and we're in full camo, full gear. We've got our weapons, everything. I mean, we're just coming back from deployment. And so they're like, everybody off the plane, yada, yada, yada. So we jump off the plane and we're all running towards the airport. Okay. It's cold. It's super, super cold. So we're running towards the airport, full camouflage, full battle rattle, helmets, the whole 9 yards, rucksacks and weapons running towards the airport. Well, there's a plane from Russia, and I want to say somewhere in South America that are there at the airport, right? And so all they do, they see these American soldiers charging into the airport, weapons and everything going on. So we weren't even supposed to land there. And we're charging into this airport. Everybody's freaking out. They think we're invading the country. It was crazy. But the Royal Air Force, they put us up in a real nice 5-star hotel for the night. And then we had a C-130 come pick us up and fly us home the next day. It was hilarious. But at the time, it wasn't until I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, oh, man, they think we're invading the country or something. It was crazy. It was a trip.
Y'all landed with one engine?
Yeah, barely landed with one engine. Like, yeah, it was bad. I was like, what in the world? Nobody knew what was going on. I'm looking out the window and I'm like, man, we're fixing to get wet. And I mean, it was all that thing could do to climb up over the power lines. And then boom, we landed just like that. I was like,
Yikes.
and
Southern Bell's got her cans out.
And we're facing backwards. So I was already sick to my stomach.
So my king isn't even paying attention to Ghost Story. He's so busy worried about what I'm doing right now.
I was watching, man. I want to see.
I was totally watching and listening. I can multitask, man. You got it. You have them already? I'm gonna show and tell.
I do.
Like you got them full.
I
You guys fill them all the way up?
You
They're
gotta
still
wait until
boiling.
Ghost let Ghost come back and make you big.
Yeah. Hold on. They're still a little bit boiling, so hold on.
Yeah.
Make you big? You want to go solo?
There she is.
I'm here. Oh, goodness.
Oh,
Okay, let me
stop it, hon. You're gorgeous. Oh, you already pulled them out.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they look full. So you fill them all the way up to that 1 inch, huh?
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
Oh,
Let me
Good,
beautiful.
man. Holy crap, that looks good. Good job.
Knowing what's in
Thank
there,
you.
That's a lot of food in there. Oh,
It
wow.
is.
you're welcome to
Awesome.
send one of those to me. They look
Well, I
So,
could only get 4. I only got 4.
so
Oh,
here's
yeah?
the deal. Here's the deal. If you drive halfway, it's only a 15-hour drive for me, not 30. And you can give me one of those jars.
Oh, goodness. Well, what do I get from you?
I'll give you the jar back.
What a trade.
Oh,
Forget
Bill's
you.
taking his
Worth
out.
it.
Are you're still cooking milkmaid?
It's coming down.
So you cooked yours, right? So you have less cook time? Could you cook
No,
the meat?
so raw pack and hot pack for meats are the same time.
Okay.
The reason that I pre-cooked mine was I wanted to kind of sear them and get kind of the oh shoot, what's that? Maynard effect. It's the browning,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which works with like meat and vegetables, but it's what makes it good, man. So I wanted to do that, and
So you
and
just seared
also,
the outside. You didn't really cook them all the way through.
no, well, I mean, I just put
Oh,
them
this
in a really
goes.
hot pan and just kind of partially cooked. Oh, Ghost got his cans.
This looks good too.
Let me see. He's gonna make it big. Oh, that
Nice.
looks
Look at it
good.
blow, man.
I love the
Yeah.
bubbles.
Beautiful.
That's good.
Delicious. Oh man, you know what? I never get to show off my. Well, I'm not gonna say that.
You're gonna say canned, huh?
So do you peel the potatoes, or can I just leave the skin on there? I like the skin on potatoes.
I do too. I mean, they say that you're supposed to peel them. The reason being is the higher quote unquote bacteria content. I just wash them really good. I mean, it's 240
So
degrees.
you left the skin on yours?
I didn't put potatoes in mine.
Oh, you didn't.
I did.
I gotta
carrots.
rewatch it from the beginning, so I missed part of it.
I had a beautiful bowl with like carrots and celery and garlic and onions and some rosemary from the garden.
Why didn't you put the potatoes? Just curious.
Because my husband's keto. He does
Keto
like
sense
the whole-
potatoes.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
potatoes.
just I love potatoes. I mean, I
Yeah,
can live with
I
potatoes.
peel the potatoes and dice them up, and then I soak them.
But see, you
Then
know what I do?
rinse, let them pull all that starch out before I can them.
Yeah. Well, the starch helps thicken it too, but like what I love to do is if I have a pot roast or if I'm doing like a beef stew or something like that, my ultimate comfort food is to make like a really good batch of mashed potatoes and then put it in a bowl and make a nice deep well and then pile that stew on top, almost kind of like a shepherd's pie, but not really.
Yeah.
But
Like
that
upside
broth
down
gets
shepherd's
in all
pie.
that potatoes. And when I broke my jaw, I was
Mhm.
eating milkshakes and Ensure for 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. And the thing that made my soul sing was like having some mashed potatoes that had, beef broth in it because it was actually salty. I love salty.
How'd you break your jaw?
Car surfing?
Oh man,
What? What?
I did that and got ran over, but I didn't break anything.
I broke my foot at the same time too.
Oh
I
man,
remember.
you make
I
me feel
remember
like a little
telling
wuss.
the
My
story.
jaw is killing me right now. It's all swelled up, and you broke your jaw, so I'm like, I can still eat. Hey.
I had to eat through a straw, and
Oh man,
because it was wired
did they
shut.
wire you? Did they wire your
Yes.
mouth? Oh,
I lost like 10. I was a real stick at that point, but I mean, I remember trying to shove a French fry, trying to get it back behind my teeth just so I could have something tasty. It It was right before my husband was sent to Korea too. So yeah, that was fun.
How'd yours turn out, Susanna?
I'm just waiting for the thing to drop.
What's it on?
It's on 0.
Oh, you're waiting on your thing to drop.
Yeah.
Mine's still at 5 pounds pressure. I just checked it. I probably won't be able to show mine off. Ever.
Show it off, girl.
Yeah. I'm a good girl.
Y'all making me hungry.
Yeah.
No.
It smells good too.
I can't wait to pop open one of those. Like I just might tomorrow, just because. Because putting them in, I mean, it smelled so good, and I was scooping them in, and I kind of forgot to make dinner. That's why I kind of had to leave the kitchen so my daughter could go in and make her something.
You guys do like 7 cans each?
Yeah, I did 7.
So how much did it take to fill 7 cans?
If you go back, you'll see I packed mine quite a bit. I'm trying to think.
Did you have like leftover vegetables and all that? You chopped it too much?
Oddly enough, it was perfect. Goes 2.
I literally only had to throw away like 5 pieces of celery. Everything else fit barely just perfect into 6 jars.
Let me look at my package and I'll tell you how much roast. But I also probably had about a pound of fat that I cut off because I didn't want too much fat in there.
I did 4 pounds.
3 pounds. Where's the other one?
I did 4 pounds of chopped up roast, probably 6 or 7 medium potatoes, medium onions, celery, and carrots, and it filled up 6 jars all the way.
Now I went heavy on the meat. I did about 5.5 pounds of roast, but again, I probably had about it looks like about 3/4 of a pound of fat that I cut out, and then gosh, like maybe 7 pieces of celery, an onion and a half, but they were big onions, a couple cloves of garlic, and probably about 8 carrots.
And you don't want the extra fat in there because why?
Fat goes rancid.
Fat goes rancid.
Yeah, it'll make the food go bad quicker. The less fat you have in there, the longer it'll last on the shelf. I mean, you can can it with fat in there if you want to. The shelf life's just not going to be as long.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I love fat. I think it flavors everything. But in the case of canning, plus if it siphons it all, if there's any kind of grease that kind of siphons out, I feel like that could possibly compromise the seal as well.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you'll know because when you go to take your canned goods off the shelf, pick it up by the lid and just see if it pops off.
Yeah, when I wash mine, I take the ring off and I submerge them completely in the soapy water and wash the entire jar really good. The edges really good to make sure there's no food particles so it doesn't draw bugs. So if the lid's going to pop, it's going to pop there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Would suck because then you have soapy stew.
I didn't even I just bought a thing of celery hearts and I chopped up some carrots. I didn't even I just kind of did it by look by just looking, and I did 2 medium onions and the roast and everything cut up. The only thing I had like maybe 1 jar left over worth, and I just stuck that in the oven.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, you can put anything in and take anything out. I mean, I know people that put, my aunt does She just does, instead of having to dice up the carrots and stuff, she just puts a bag of those frozen peas and carrots.
Mm-hmm.
You put any kind of beans in there you want. It's basically a soup. I mean, just get creative. That's what I do.
Well, the thing is like when you're canning, because at first I was kind of confused about this. If you're water bath canning, they want you to stick to the recipe exactly, right?
Right. Right.
And the whole point is that they want the acidity to get to a certain point, which
Right.
I ordered, and they say that they have to like calibrate the machines and all that stuff. I bought some pH strips to just test, because even if you grow tomatoes, different tomatoes have different acidity. But when it comes to pressure canning, you go by the thing that needs the longest time.
Right.
Which is always the meat, or if it's fish, that goes even longer.
Right.
Aww.
Let's go. Say hi, Ghost.
Hi, Ghost.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
We'll find your real parents one day. Don't worry.
Aw.
It's my buddy.
So sweet.
Susanna, is that you?
Huh?
Oh,
No, it
I thought I
wasn't
heard
me.
something. Sound like you were taking the lid off the canner.
Yeah, it's about time.
Uh-oh. You gonna turn the camera on, or you just gonna tell us how pretty it is?
Come on, girl. Turn the camera on.
Milkmaid, did you fulfill my request? Did you find out the origins of canning?
Oh, shoot. I totally forgot.
I think
I'll give it a shot.
somebody put it in the comment, and I think they're right. I think it happened. The early stages was the Napoleon era.
Napoleon Bonaparte, yeah.
Dang it. I totally forgot. I'm sorry. This week has been insane.
Actually, I think there was a contest that he had something to do with, to come up with the best way to preserve food long term, so that they could travel.
Yeah.
I think the person that
Really?
came up with it actually won some kind of prize or something. That could be wrong. But that's what I heard.
That
I
sounds.
was thinking it was a Civil War era, but I think that's when they mass produced it. I think that's the first time they put it in metal cans too. But yeah, it was in the Napoleonic era.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. I'm sorry. I've been doing 2 farms this week.
All right, just messing with you. That's good. You get to talk to the Angry Prepper, man. Did you just talk to him on email? Did you get to call him or what?
Email.
Email. We still got to get him up there to can though.
I know, right? If he can fit it in the schedule. I mean, 3 hours. I mean, we've been going for almost 4 hours. That's a.
Oh, shoot.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm taking them out.
Oh, well, we can't see them. He's gonna be like, "Oh, they're gorgeous. I wish y'all could see them."
Hit that little button right there. That
Probably didn't even can
shows
anything.
stuff.
He's probably been sitting there reading the magazine the whole time.
Show us your healthy cans.
I'll turn this out of the way.
Yeah, let's see. What shirt does he? Oh, I like that one too. Mm-hmm. Man, now I gotta get some grunt style shirts. There we go.
Yeah, you do.
Make it. Well, can we make you big, Susanna?
I'm trying. I'm trying. Okay.
Can you see it?
Nope.
What?
Turn your camera around.
We see your shoulder.
See the same.
I don't know. I don't know how to turn the camera around.
Is it on your laptop or are you on your phone?
My phone.
Just turn the phone around.
Oh, and she can't see what she's doing. There should be like like 2 arrows that kind of go in a circle, depending on what phone you have.
That's weird. How did my camera get turned around?
I didn't do it.
My favorite is when I go to take a picture and it's like facing my face.
There it is. Oh yeah, that does look good.
Oh,
Whoa,
yum.
Whew. Good job, Susanna. You guys did good.
Now see, all you have to do is pop it open and you've got a ready-made meal.
Yep.
No cooking.
Sorry, I was bending over and I was trying to get the camera to go on there. I didn't realize it was backwards.
You were bending over while you were trying to show us your cans? Really?
Well, I was trying to, well, I was hoping to get it on the camera. So yeah, I was kind of bending over.
Sorry, I was just messing with you, hon. You know.
You're bad.
Angel.
Like if you literally had to choose two people on YouTube that you would swear would never ever say a cuss word, probably went to a Catholic school growing up.
I did.
It would be you two. It would be the Milkmaid and Anna. And they're the first ones to take us down Dirty Street every night.
I have no clue what Ghost is talking about.
Like the two most sweetest. And they're like, all right, here we go.
I have no idea what you're talking about, huh?
They were probably sailors in the past life.
Exactly. Now look at them walking it back. Look at that twinkle in there. No, I'm a good guy.
Hey,
We
Ghost, I got a
probably
quick
knew
question.
each other. We probably knew each other in a past life.
All right.
Probably.
Quick question, Ghost. So a couple weeks ago, you guys did the chicken, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You called it bone in, skin on, raw pack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you take the feathers off before or after you put it in the can?
Up to you. Either way.
It's all right.
Dang, you lost the bird.
It's okay. Like the feathers on? No.
Yeah, the processing time might be a little bit different.
I wouldn't cook you.
Oh, I
Microwave.
would not have pegged you for a bird guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, you're famous now, see?
Yeah.
He's got his
Well,
little
guys,
thing
we have dropped off to
tappy.
16 people. No, 19 people.
Oh, that was innocent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're approaching the 4-hour mark. I want to and hang out for a little while before I crash. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for hopping up on the panel and canning with us. I want to thank everybody in the chat for hanging out so long. And pay attention for updates in the community tab about the show this upcoming weekend. It may change, it may not. May get some updates on who's going to be there, who isn't. So wish me luck with that. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Good job, everybody. See you later.
Thank y'all for coming. Bye.
That's what she said.